Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
Not crazy. Nuts.
Bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, they're delicious and sweeties, but there's nothing for it.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Bowl, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Get yourself a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. The Brick is here to help with deals on your entire bed. Save up to 50% off clearance mattresses, 50% off beds when you buy any 3 matching pieces. Buy one, get one half price on Sealy memory foam pillows, and save $100 off any adjustable power base when you buy a mattress over $9.99. Plus, check out other incredible savings in every department. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick at South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side, and downtown.
Jason Gregor Show.
A piece of Astroff on its way by. McDavid again from Bouchard. Bouchard finishes
On Sports 1440.
Here's Savoy. It's a goal for Trent Friedrich. 3-3.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
More for a long time. Islanders lead.
What a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. As always, brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game all the time. Use the Jason Gregor Show where you get some odds boosts. You've got NHL, NBA action tonight. Slate on the National Hockey League. Of course, Columbus. They need a win. They're in New York to take on the Rangers. The Flyers and the Leafs, 2 teams that are looking to make some salary dumps, I would think, and grab some draft picks before Friday. They're both not making the playoffs. The Dallas Stars, they will be a big-time player, I think, in the trade deadline because Tyler Seguin was moved to LTIR. He's not going to play in the playoffs. That frees up over $9 million for them in LTIR space. Carolina, who will be in Edmonton on Friday. They are in Seattle tonight and maybe could help the Edmonton Oilers as Seattle and the Oilers, amongst a few other teams battling. And the LA Kings, with their new head coach, are hosting the Colorado Avalanche tonight. Oilers, of course, will be in action tomorrow. Josh Szymanski will be in the lineup as he and Isaac Howard were recalled today after Mangiapane and Regula cleared waivers. Janmark moves to LTR. It's all a not paper shuffle, but a movement shuffle. Mangiapane and Regula can be recalled once they play a game in the AHL, and they actually can play tomorrow morning. It's a morning game for the Bakersfield Condors, and then they would be eligible to come back up, or potentially could there be a trade? I think there's lots of things at play here. The Oilers are obviously looking. I've said it all along. Right shot defenseman. That's what they're looking at. And I had on my list that Conor Murphy is one of those guys. And it's you know what? I think that trade is getting fairly close. From I think Friedman just put that out. I would. It makes a lot of sense to me. He's a really good penalty killer. And did you see the new defense pairs for the Edmonton Oilers? Ekholm is with Stastny. Murphy comes in. Ekholm with Murphy. Bouchard with Wallman. Nurse with Emberson. So there you go. Maybe Stastny was just a placeholder in practice today. So keep that in mind. A defensive defenseman who can kill penalties. 6'4". This is exactly what the Oilers need. I'll be curious to see what the return would be. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Mangiapane, to be honest, to make the cap work, and then some sort of pick. We shall see when it becomes official, but that's looking like the deal today. So we'll get to all of that. You can get involved 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. As we got a lot of thoughts, man. The Edmonton Oilers, that was an ugly game for different reasons against the San Jose Sharks. And we'll get to Stan Bowman's comments here, especially his opening one. Cons, you let me know when you got that ready, because Stan Bowman outlined, hey, we could bring in a player. One player isn't going to solve the woes of our team. And that's what we'll talk about. Sean Brown's going to join us here right away. He's in studio. Howie Draper will be by. Man, he's had a hell of a career. Retired Bruce Leavine will join us from Dallas, the Stars. Also a team looking for a right shot defenseman, and they got a lot of money. They'll be going big. Kevin Woodley, talking goaltenders. Tad Bamford will talk to us about Chicago. Hey, guess what? You plan ahead sometimes. And we had Tad booked before the rumblings of Murphy spec. James Hamlin will join us, talk about his season. There's a guy who quietly doesn't get talked about a lot, but I can tell you right now, that guy could get called up, and he could fill in a pinch, no problem, in a bottom six role for the Edmonton Oilers at the center position. So we'll get to all of that and more as we welcome in Sean Brown. Brownie, how you doing?
Good. It's good to be back on the show. I seen you took another couple points from a Strathcona team on the weekend.
Oh, well, hey, now it's playoffs, baby. So you got to win. Actually, we got some players suspended, unfortunately. And I think that was a real wake-up call for our players. Like, the guys who got suspended are like, yeah, it wasn't worth it. And our team's being a lot more disciplined. So, you preach it all the time, but sometimes you need an example. And so it's been good. So, yeah, we got a weird game, though, tomorrow night, 8:15 for U13 start time.
Late one.
Right, yeah, we're starting later than the NHL guys, for goodness sake. So I don't know if our kids will get an after-school nap or not. So we'll see how that, because we haven't played that late all year long. So I do know that, eating and fatigue. So, but it's been fun. You know what? Playoffs are great. Even at the lower levels, man, everything gets intensified a little bit. So
it's amazing to see the turnout too, right? All the grandparents. I mean, the place was packed. It was a good game. Obviously, I think, obviously you guys had an emotional game the game before. So there was, I don't know if you realized it, but the Hockey Alberta ref and chief was there to kind of make sure. So I was glad that there was no drama. It's always nice to see a good, clean game.
Wow. Yeah. But honestly, I could say my team really hasn't gotten into much all year long. Pretty, I'd say I really enjoy coaching my team. I got a lot of good kids and some kids that have improved, and I think have chances to go on later on. They love the game, and who knows where they'll play later on, but it's been a lot of fun. Yeah. We haven't had really, that was like the only incident we've had all year long.
You're so lucky. You're on the right side. You're so lucky. I mean, I've always coached too, my son, and it's such a nice place to be, because it's just, when you sit on the other side and you hear all the chatter, right, and the things that people say, and it's just like, man, the atmosphere can be electric. It could be challenging at times. It just blows my mind sitting there listening to people and what they're willing to say, and think, how could anything positive come out of that?
Yeah.
Right. It's just, it blows my mind. So
yeah,
you're on the right side.
Yeah. So we'll see. Now, so Conor Murphy, it's not official. Looks like it's getting close, but give me your thoughts on like the Edmonton Oilers, man. You score a lot, but they've been leaking a lot. In their last 10 games, the Oilers lead the NHL in goals for at 44, 4.4 goals a game. That's damn good. Problem is, they've allowed a league worst 46. So do the math. Yeah, we're the best scoring team. Yeah, but you're the worst defending team. And it's not just the goalies. Can we all say that together, wherever you're at, in unison? It's not just the goalies. Can the goalies be better? 100%. But team defense, defensemen, forwards, they all got to be better.
Yeah, it's not where it needs to be. And I think Stan Bowman touched on a lot of the right points today when he talked about, just the inconsistency with it. There's times that obviously they look good offensively on both sides of the puck and playing well defensively. But, it's just a game that this team has never really made it easy on themselves. They always seem to find a way to make it a lot tougher than maybe it needs to be. But, hopefully with the trade deadline coming up here, obviously, hopefully there'll be some movement. If there's not any movement, then obviously they got to find a way within. But there's no easy way to play this game. When you look at the game that they played against San Jose, it's just, that compete, that ability to play. It's not the sexy part of the game. It's not necessarily the fun part of the game, but it's the biggest part of the game. And, we seen that when they played against Florida last year, the mixture of skill and talent, but their ability to check and take pride in that was obviously why they've won 2 Stanley Cups. And that's when you watch the good teams, that's what they do. And they do it well, and they do it consistently. And it seems to be the teams that the Oilers play, the teams that check really well, give them fits. And so, yeah, it's interesting. I obviously watch some of the tweets and that are out there, and you look at the different devices and apparatuses, and, it looks like they use it as many teams in minor hockey use it. But there's always going to be a side to that game where it's not, you have to just be able to play defense. You have to be willing, to play in the trenches and to play that type of game. And, I think we can all get caught up at different times, with too many apparatus, too many, that's too many, the sexy part of the game, and not understanding the importance of just hard hockey. That's what wins games, and that's what the top teams do.
Yeah. And, Stan Bowman had a fairly long answer when asked about his team and, obviously the goals against. And he just talked about, and Brownie, you played. At the end of the day, like there's, I know it sounds boring and it sounds cliche, but there's the right way to play. And now you got to play intense, and there's still a right way to play offensively, because you still got to score, right? And the Oilers have always been able to score. Even earlier this year, and I was like, oh my God, they can't score. I'm like, the Oilers will be fine. They'll score. And it was like, they got no depth guys. And then you look at, since the break, have their depth guys scored? Yeah. And they're not winning because they're giving up too much. Right? Matt Savoy has 6 freaking points in 3 games, for God's sakes. Right? So here's Stan Bowman earlier today when asked about what he sees as the issue for his team.
Yeah, we haven't played well defensively as a team. I think it's a number of factors, all of them contributing. It's goaltending, defense, and forwards. I think the biggest challenge for our group is, we don't put ourselves in a great spot often in games, and we score a ton of goals, and I think that's great. And if you think back to the early part of our season, we weren't scoring a lot. I think so. We've swung the pendulum probably too far one way, where we're pushing to try to make things happen. And in the process of doing that, we put ourselves in really bad spots. And I think until we learn as a team to be smarter about the way we approach the games, we're going to see a lot of highs and lows, to where we look great some nights, we're scoring a lot of goals, and other nights we're giving up a ton of chances and putting our defense and our goalie in bad spots. And I think that's got to change. So that's more of a mentality shift for our group to understand what a winning brand of hockey is. And I think we see it in spurts this year, but I don't think we see it nearly consistent enough. And especially as the season progresses and the league changes around, this time of year, the stretch run, and there has to be better, bigger commitment from players, all of our players, to play smarter, not trying to make plays every shift. I think that's something that we've been building But even going back to the games in late January, I think maybe it's having more respect for the game and the simplicity of the game sometimes. I think we want to put on a show and we want to score goals, and I think we all love scoring goals. But there's two sides to it, and I think we haven't managed that very well as a team. So yes, there's lots of details underneath that as far as players that need to play better. No question, both forwards, defense, and goalies. I don't think we've seen, but I think the bigger way to fix that, it's not going to be magical new players. It's going to be the approach that we take as a team, understanding that going through a whole period without getting a lot of scoring chances is okay if you don't give up a lot. And I think that's what happens in playoff hockey. And I think our team has shown the maturity to play that way when the games matter the most. I think right now we haven't been dialed in enough and committed enough to play that way. And that's what's causing us a problem most recently.
What do you make of that, Brownie?
Yeah, I mean, his assessment is obviously, very accurate. I mean, the thing with this team here is it's not a young team. It's not like it's San Jose that's trying to learn how to win and how to play the game and what it takes to, get to that next level. This is the Edmonton Oilers that, have been to multiple Game 7s and Stanley Cup finals. So it's a little bit surprising that, that maturity and that understanding of the game isn't, where it should be. But he's dead on as far as his assessment. I mean, that's, like I said earlier, that's, when you look at the good teams and, when I think back to some of the teams that I played on that, were successful during the regular season is, it didn't matter the team. It didn't matter the time of the game. There was, you'd look at the clock and you'd look at the times and I guess the maturity and understanding, what's needed. And there was no real panic, right? You just played and you played with your game plan. There was a trust in each other and everyone kind of knew and understood what everyone had to do to be successful. And you might not be winning in the second period. You might not be winning in the first period, but you knew that with the game plan and with everyone's responsibility that eventually it was going to come. Right. And there was a real belief in that when you were playing. And I think with the Oilers right now, there's just that inconsistency, the inconsistency and the, not really knowing who's going to do what and kind of waiting for the next guy to be the guy that gets it done. And that's, to me, that's kind of where it's at. I mean, they just, is McDavid going to step up like as he normally does? Is Draisaitl going to do his thing where, the understanding and that maturity that he talks about is just kind of lacking. And like I said, this is a team that's never really made it easy. So is this, at what point in time is it going to change?
And we have the trade official. It is Conor Murphy to the Edmonton Oilers for a second-round pick, and Chicago retains half of his 4.4 cap hit. So the Oilers will come in at 2.2. Now, don't expect this trade to be official with the league until after 3 p.m. for salary cap purposes. So in order for them to bring on Murphy's contract, and I mentioned this right off top of the show, I thought Ike Howard was just going to be a paper transaction today. That Ike Howard comes up, and because he was recalled before the Oilers went into LTIR, so now he's a $950,000 cap hit, right? His bonuses go into what's called the recapture silo. It's like its own silo. So if you're on the roster, so Savoy, Howard, Szymanski, all of their bonuses will go into this silo. Let's pretend it's an invisible silo. And now when they go into LTIR, they're in that silo. So they just remain there. You can send Howard back to the minors. And now anytime the rest of the year, when you recall him, he's only his base salary of $950K, not $1.6 million. So this is why the Oilers did it, right? They moved the Janmark, and Janmark's he's done for the year. Stan Bowman had said to us earlier, I'm guessing he's probably going to This shoulder injury, I'm guessing it's going to lead to surgery. I don't know that for sure. That's what I'm going to guess, just based on the conversations. When people, I'm like, well, hey, Yanmar coming back? No. So now, and if you use him on LTIR because of his cap hit, I'm not even sure he qualifies for the because he doesn't have that 3.4. So I think if you put him on LTIR because it's only 1.45, I don't think I'd have to double check with Hart. I'm not sure there's much impact for him. Like, could he return for the 4th round or 3rd round? I don't know. It's not like Sagan. Sagan in Dallas, once they put him officially on LTIR, he can't come back for the playoffs because so they open up all of his money. Whereas if he was coming back, they could only use 3.45 million of his LTIR space during the season. So that's the difference. But so there you have it. Conor Murphy is now with the Edmonton Oilers. And so, hey, I was joking. Was Stastny just a placeholder? Are we going to see Wallman, Bouchard, Ekholm, Murphy, Nurse, Emberson? I think the D pairs are going to switch up at times, but Chris Knobloch did say the D pairs were going to be different tomorrow. Now, obviously, they will be with Murphy, but based on even what we saw at practice. So I think you might see some different combinations. I won't be surprised at the end of the day we end up back with Ekholm and Bouchard. I won't be surprised, but because you get Murphy, now you have 3 righties and 3 lefties. And I think that's long overdue.
And I don't have a problem with them going back with Ekholm and Bouchard.
No.
Because it's worked, right? But I mean, I don't know much about this Murphy, just reading about him here quickly. He's 6'4", 32 years old, right? A big body. I think they need a little bit of size back there with Stastny and Emberson. So yeah, I mean, this could be it looks like he was a 1st round pick. So could be someone that or hopefully it's kind of this person that kind of comes back there and just kind of settles it down a little bit. Right?
Here's the scouting report on Conor Murphy. So outside of the bubble, he's never played in the playoffs. He is going to be jacked up to get in the playoffs. He defends hard. He stands up for his teammates. He's on the penalty kill in Chicago, takes a ton of PK minutes. And he's not the most fleet of foot guy, but he moves the puck all right. But he adds a little bit more grease to the Oilers back end. And I think, Brownie, you'd be the first one to agree that the Oilers could maybe play a little bit harder, especially in front of their net. So I think that's what Murphy's going to add to them. If you put Wallman and Bouchard, even if you kept him, you could say Ekholm and Murphy, you're our big shutdown pair. Now, Darnell Nurse, if you want to get back to playing consistently, well, then I think Nurse can still be an impactful player for you. But he's got to round out his game. There's no question about it right now. So, Murphy's a veteran guy. He's really outside of the bubble. So he's never played a playoff game with fans. He is going to be jazzed right up.
Yeah, I mean, what a perfect opportunity. I mean, he's got to be excited with the opportunity that's out in front of him here. And I mean, yeah, you're right. The Oilers are a team that just, if that's his identity and he's comfortable with that and wants to play that way, it's only going to help the Oilers. It not only helps him because that's what they need, but that guy that plays that way, I've always said it, I've said it before, like when you're playing that way, it creates scrums, it creates energy, it allows other guys to play bigger, right? And the Oilers, I feel at times when teams come in here, I don't know how much of a price they have to pay. So hopefully he's a guy that can be heavy, hard, right? You got to be a team that can check a little bit better, make it a little bit more uncomfortable in front of the net.
Yeah. So there you go. What's your thoughts? 833-401-1440. I wrote it last week. Who are the guys for the Oilers to look for? Murphy was one of the top 4 guys for me. And I thought actually for cost, because he's a pending UFA, he was going to be less rather than Ristolainen or Kovacevic. I had listed, Dougie Hamilton cost way too much. Parayko was going to cost way too much. I'm not even sure cap-wise they could do it. But, look at it. So now the Oilers, can they find a way to move Mangiapane and free up? Maybe he's got to sit down there. I got to look at the numbers or not. I guess if they want to bring him back up, they probably got to move someone else here. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. So we'll take a quick break. We'll return. We'll go to another team that's looking for a right shot defenseman. Well, there's one off the market, but there's a lot for them to look at. And they're a team that the Oilers have faced in the playoffs recently, so they'll probably be watching close to see what they do. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of CanTorque. CanTorque has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off, let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Okay, how about you give us your star winger for a bag of pucks? What if I throw in some Will Hawk beef jerky?
Yourself a trade.
With Will Hawk Beef Jerky on their side, the Alberta teams definitely have an unfair advantage this trade deadline. Pick up some today and use it for trade leverage in your fantasy league.
No way, man. It's way too good.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win trades with salad.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks. Ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
225. Welcome back. If you missed it, Conor Murphy. According to Spec, the official trade is Murphy for a second rounder, with the Blackhawks retaining half of his $4.4 million salary. So in order for them to get him on the roster, I'd look for Ike Howard, who I know just got recalled today. But and they got recalled to help him. So now, his capture bonuses are there. But I think Ike Howard will be here for a very brief time. And then they will announce the Murphy trade, and I could see Ike Howard going back down. So we'll see. And it's a second rounder, by the way, in 2028. So not even right away. So Chicago kind of doing themselves a favor, I think, to their former GM in this deal. So I don't see how anybody can complain about that. You give up a second rounder 3 years away. Like, that's a pick that's not going to help you for 6 or 7 years, realistically. So you take that all day long. And Conor Murphy comes in from Chicago. Defensive-minded defenseman. Is very good on the penalty kill. Plays hard. Stands up for his teammates. Nothing flashy, but for a team that needs to play better defense, this is exactly what I couldn't believe people are like, oh, the Oilers should get Justin Falk. What? Why? Like, what, you want all great puck movers? It's what everybody says now. Puck mover, puck mover. You need to defend, too. You can't just have all puck movers. Look at Team USA. They had all puck movers, right, except Slavin. And Canada demolished them. They just couldn't score. but it wasn't because their puck movers kept the puck out of their own end. Like, give me a break. You need a mixture of something. The Oilers have enough puck movers. They needed a defender, and that's what Murphy is. So I like this trade for Edmonton and probably see him in the lineup. We'll see if he can get here in time for tomorrow's game against the Ottawa Senators. Now, another team that's in the market for right shot defensemen are the Dallas Stars. As we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. $5 McValue meal. Check it out at McDonald's. Oof, it's very good. What's your fave? Say the McDouble. I like the McDouble. Big fan. Love the McDouble at McDonald's. As Bruce Leavine joins us, he's Stars post-game analyst. And Bruce, I guess let's start first of all. You see Chicago a lot. Give us your thoughts on Conor Murphy.
Conor Murphy is exactly what you described. That he's a bigger defenseman, can play the physical role. Not the fastest guy. He's not the guy you want back on a 2-on-1 or leading the charge going the other way. But as a role guy who plays a right-handed defenseman, he fills a good spot. I thought Dallas was going to possibly make a run at him. Edmonton gets him first. That's hockey.
All right, Bruce. Now the Dallas Stars.
By the way, I wanted to be outside today. It's 28 degrees down here, so I just wanted to rub it in a little bit.
Yeah. Bruce, if I would extend a certain digit, I would, but I would do it in jest. So there we go. But no, that's awesome, man. I love it. Good for you guys. Now, hey, things are heating up in Dallas off the ice because Tyler Seguin, unfortunately, was placed on LTIR, which means he's not going to play in the playoffs. But that frees up his whole $9 million plus salary for the Dallas Stars to work with between now and the trade deadline. And I fully expect them to use it. They need a right shot defenseman, don't they?
They need a right shot defenseman. But first of all, let's clarify one thing. Because of injuries that Dallas has had already and had to bring up players, the Seguin bump is more like $6 million rather than $9 million because of usage that they've already had.
Right.
Dallas does need a right-handed defenseman. But the question is, with Rantanen out, Hintz hasn't come back from the Olympic break. Radek Fox is still out. You want to keep Matt Duchene at center. Are the Dallas Stars more likely to trade for a winger that they could put and keep Matt Duchene solid at the center position, or are they looking more for a defenseman? Right now, the Dallas Stars, you talk to their coaching staff, they're what Mills next to Thomas Harley. So it may not so much be a right-handed defenseman, but are they looking for a defenseman that could add a little bit of grit, a little bit of sandpaper? If you've got to go through Minnesota and Colorado in the first two rounds, it's going to get nasty. Dallas might be looking for somebody a little more physical than whether it's right-handed or left-handed on the blue line.
So what other needs do you think they're looking for?
I think I just said it, the winger. Dallas, this is a lineup that Tyler Seguin was playing. So I know if you go back to December, he was playing so well before he got injured. And you're one injury away from having two lines. You really are. You look at Dallas right now with the injuries the Stars are having, they are a two-line team. They've won 2 games doing it. They've been playing good defense, gotten good goaltending. But in the playoffs, you've got to be more than 2 lines. I think Dallas might be looking at helping their offense a little more than helping their defense. You still have Lyubushkin, Petrovic, Capobianco. If 8 on, you could, let's be realistic. It's going to be Miro Heiskanen, Esa Lindell, Thomas Harley eating 25 to 30 minutes a night in the playoffs.
Yeah,
you can get minutes from some of the other guys, but scoring wise, can Dallas afford an injury? It's not like the last couple of years where they had guys like Dadonov and Marchment and Seguin coming back, where you had depth at the forward spot going into the postseason. I think Dallas might be looking for somebody that can help on their forward spot. One more thing, though. Talk to Jim Nill. This is a team that does not want to take on long-term contracts. They don't want to be hamstrung come next year with any contract negotiations they have to make. So it's going to have to be the right player with the right cap hit and not a long-term hit either.
Bruce, maybe give us a little bit of an update on former Oiler assistant coach Glenn Gulutzan. How's he doing there?
Gully's fantastic. I mean, here's a guy that, first of all, he's coached here, back in 2011. Roster the down compared to what he had to work with back in the day, it's night and day. He's like a kid in a candy store right now compared to the first time he was in Dallas. If you remember, at that time, Dallas had no owner and basically we were scraping to get above the salary cap floor just to be compliant with the league. He's done a great job of communicating with the players. When Dallas first started their current 8-game winning streak, they had a horrendous game in St. Louis. What they won, but they were out hit something like 46-11. Glenn Gulutzan said after the game, this is not acceptable. Then he and his coaching staff talked to the players, talked to the leaders in the locker room, and explained what they wanted, what the expectations were, and everybody immediately bought in. Glenn Gulutzan's ability to communicate, get the message across, and have the team leaders disseminate that message is a thing of beauty for the Dallas Stars right now. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. Everyone knows how they're supposed to play, and it's getting the job done. Gully's been fantastic.
Bruce, the Stars, obviously, you know what? Hey, they've had success. You've been to the conference final 3 years in a row, but they obviously want to get farther than that. You got Minnesota and you have Colorado, and, you know, depending how things shake out, like right now, it looks like, it would be a Dallas-Minnesota series, but like they're only 6 points back of Colorado. And Dallas has won 8 in a row. So, you know, I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion. Like they're 6 back and they have gained 8 points in their last 10 games, and they're still 6 back. So they've covered it up, right? Like they made up more ground in the last 10 games than they have to make up in the remaining 23. So I wouldn't say it's over by any stretch, but it was clearly important, I think, to get that number 1 seed, because then you avoid the other 2, at least for the first round.
Yeah, and let's face it, it's going to be a bloodbath in the Central Division. Whatever that 2 versus 3 matchup is going to be the iconic matchup of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Dallas plays Colorado this Friday at home. Now, maybe Dallas plays Vancouver. Riding going into that game. After Friday, we should have a pretty good idea whether or not Dallas can really hunt down Colorado, or if Colorado has enough gas and separation to stay in front. You look at Minnesota, adding Quinn Hughes just makes them so dangerous. And I really want to fault the New Jersey Devils management for giving away too many no trade contracts, not allowing Quinn Hughes to go play with his brothers the way God intended it. They screwed it all up for the rest of us in the Central Division.
Yeah. Well, that Hughes has made that team a lot better for certain. You mentioned the offense and, you know, where they want to go. Where are you at with Jason Robertson and the Stars, and what's going to happen long term there?
I think what's going to happen is that they're just going to put everything on hold till the offseason. One thing about Jim Nill is they do not negotiate through the media. There are no leaks. There are no inklings of what's going to happen. I think that the conversation got to a point where they were no longer making progress. So they said, let's cool it down a little bit, and they'll re-engage later on. Remember, Jason Robertson is going to be a restricted free agent this offseason. So if somebody did want to make an offer, 1, Dallas would have the option to match, or 2, I believe the cost is 4 first-round picks to sign Jason Robertson. So I think the Stars long-term want to sign Robertson. They want to get him in. They want him to be a long-term piece of this organization. It's just going to take a little bit of work, but if there's one thing the 3-time reigning GM of the year has been able to do, he finds ways to get things done. And I think that's the underlying belief that one way or another, Jim Nill will do what's right for the Dallas Stars, and they'll find a way to keep Jason Robertson.
Okay. Any guess on what you think his AAV might be?
You know, that's a hard one, because I don't think you can pay Jason Robertson more than you can pay Mikko Rantanen. And Mikko Rantanen's at 12.5. I think you could see if it depends is being at 11.5 to 12. I mean, Thomas Harley's at 10.5. So if you say Thomas Harley's at 10.5, Mikko Rantanen's at 12.5, can you put Jason Robertson somewhere in between and get the job done? Would Jason Robertson be willing to play for that? I mean, let's face it, Kaprizov's making $17 million. That's what everyone looks at. It looks and says, well, that's the top end. But if you're the Dallas Stars and you've got, you know, plans of building a team that's going to not only try for the cup this year, but next year and the year after and the year after, especially with Wyatt Johnson and the young core you've got on this team, you've got to be able to slot things. And that's the hard part. Is I think Jason Robertson would be fantastic here, but you can't pay him $13 million and make Mikko Rantanen your second most highest paid player.
Okay. Bruce, for fun, between now and Friday, how many trades do you think the Stars are making? And do you have anybody that you would think is a top target?
I don't know if it's a top target, but I keep coming back to Seattle simply because may or may not be sellers at the deadline. We don't know which way they're going to go. But Big Rig has been in Dallas before, and he does add some size and meanness on the blue line where necessary. So I could see Dallas maybe making a trade. That's sort of my dark horse. I think somewhere along the line, they bring in another forward. They find somebody that can come in and play a top 9 role and try to boost that up. But I don't see Dallas going all in like they have last year. They gave away a lot to get Rantanen, Granlund, and Ceci. The year before that, they went all in to get to Chris Tanev. And now you're looking at a team that has 2 first-round picks over the next 4 years. I don't see Dallas making a monster trade. All that being said, last year at this time, we had no idea that Mikko Rantanen was going to be wearing victory green. So if there's a great trade to be made, Dallas will explore it. If everything is status quo, I don't see a blockbuster coming out of Big D.
Awesome. Thanks, Bruce. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the heat.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see if I can hit the driving range before the game against Vancouver. It's tough, but someone's got to do it.
All right, man. I love it. Appreciate your time, Bruce. Have a great day.
Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Bruce Leavine joining us from Leavine, from Dallas. So the Stars have about $6 extra mil in cap space to use, and obviously you're looking for a scorer. So that's priority number 1. I wouldn't be surprised if they make 2 moves and add another defenseman. Maybe not a big guy, because he's right. Like, they got 3 D-men who play a ton of minutes. Now, it'd be nice to have a 4th, but are you going to spend a boatload for that? Or what if you just get a really solid guy that can play you 15 minutes, 16 minutes? That's something to look for. So speaking of trades, the Oilers trade Conor Murphy coming from Chicago, a 2028 second rounder going to Chicago, and the Blackhawks retain 50% of Murphy's salary. So didn't have to give up a ton. Now they get Murphy. The trade probably won't be official until after 3:00 by the league, just because of counting purposes and everything else like that. And then the Oilers probably going to send Ike Howard right back down. I know he's just recalled, but because how it works in the day, it's like 3:00 is the start of a new day in the CBA. It's kind of weird, but that's just how it works. So I could see that Ike Howard up, Ike Howard down, but he was up for the time that allows him to only be a $950,000 cap at the rest of the year, because now all his bonuses are in LTIR, because after he's recalled, the Oilers went on LTIR with Janmark. And so that puts his bonuses in the recapture silo, if we want to call it that. So there you go. It's a quick break. We'll come back and discuss the trade and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle adultnoodle.ca. Delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodle-noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodle-noodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a full warranty center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB, and we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at aws.ca. AWS Welding. Our welding keeps you working.
Hey, Edmonton. Did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
A claims program for harmed Canadians has begun as a result of a landmark tobacco settlement. If you smoked regularly before November 20th, 1998, and were diagnosed with lung cancer, throat cancer, emphysema, or COPD, you may qualify for a significant payment. To learn more, call 888-482-5852 or go to tobaccoclaimscanada.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.245. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you are having an awesome day. Oiler fans, you got a defensive defenseman, Conor Murphy. What do you think? We got lots of texts coming in. We'll get to that. 833-401-1440. The Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. We got to get the odds of Conor Murphy. When's he going to score a goal? Because I love those ones. I love the long shot ones. So we hit on the Emberson and Stastny this year. So boom, we'll have to see on a Conor. I don't even know how many goals he scored this year.
Do we need him to score a goal? I think
no,
we
not
just
really.
need him to play heavy and hard.
Well, I can't. You can't play Alberta.ca. We can't have any fun on like how many penalty kills he'll get. Right? Shot.
What about
block
hitting?
shots?
Hitting?
No block
Hit?
shots. No hits. They don't do.
Okay.
But block shots they do.
Okay.
So.
Well, he seems like he's more of that guy.
Oh yeah. But that's why I said Emberson and Stastny, right? Because those are the long shot guys.
Yeah.
It's like you do a $5 here or there. It's kind of funny. So he's got 4 goals though this year. Conor Murphy, 4 goals in 60 games. So not bad. He had a career high 7 goals a few years ago. But yeah, he is here to play defense for the Edmonton Oilers. Kills penalties on the number 1 penalty kill unit in the NHL. Blocks a lot of shots. So that should help. Now, Our next guest knows a thing or two about building a team and building people. And guess what? You need a diverse roster if you want to win, really at any level of hockey. You can't have, if you have all too much flash and dash, you're not going to win. If you don't have enough skill, you're not going to win. If you don't have, if you have all small guys, you won't win. If you have all big guys, probably not going to win. You need a combination, different elements of it all. And Howie Draper has had one of the longest running coaching careers going with the Pandas. And then, of course, with his PWHL for a while. We'll talk to Howie now as we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, 53 years. Almost as many years as Howie's been coaching. No, kidding. But 53 years in business. They've become one of the most diversified electrical contractors in the province, actionelectrical.net. Howie, welcome back to the show, man. Congratulations on everything in the coaching career. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good, Jason. Thank you very much.
I wanted, you coach, how many years you coached?
28 years total.
28. So what originally got you in, what was your first coaching job?
Well, let's see. When I was still a Bear in my last year, I helped coach a bantam team here, a midget team actually here in the city as an assistant coach. And that was my first dabble in it. And then the year out, I did a little bit more work with a bantam team as an assistant coach, just small stints here and there.
Yeah.
And then went over to Australia and was a coach player in Australia for a year. So that was probably the closest I had been to that point as an actual head coach. And then, and then came back and everything just kind of went from there.
Well, you played at the U of A for 5 years from 86 to 90 under Claire Drake. And there's so many people that rave about Claire. When you were playing there, did you have meetings with Claire Drake thinking, hey, I want to get into coaching? How much of an influence did he have on your coaching career?
Yeah, well, I think to speak to your first point, I don't know if I ever really thought that I wanted to coach when I was playing. It wasn't something that came to mind at that time, and I just sort of fell into it. I really enjoyed working hockey camps and those kinds of things, and we did a lot of that with the Bears back in those years in summer camps. And so that was always great, but I never really thought about being a head coach as a career. And then I just kind of fell into it. But I'll tell you, in terms of influence though, I think what I did draw from Coach Drake was just, how important he was to the growth that we all took part of as we were going through the Bears program. And then when the opportunity came to coach the Pandas, it was kind of an aha moment. And I thought, okay, this is my chance to hopefully have an impact on young people and hopefully to the extent that Coach Drake had an impact on me.
So congratulations. What is it like? You obviously coached for a number of years. Maybe tell me the difference from when you got into coaching, the athlete that you coached at the beginning to the athlete that you coach at the end. What was the difference?
Well, it was quite dramatic, to be honest. When we first started, female hockey was in its infancy to a certain extent. So, so we had some hockey players that, we're just coming out of midget. Of course, we had some hockey players that had been essentially playing beer league for females at that time. We had some figure skaters come in. We had some ringette players come in. So we had a variety of different kinds of student athletes coming from all different areas. And so it was a real shock to the system at that time for me. But, I think things have grown so much, and the female game, as you all know, has come such a long way, particularly with the institution of PWHL and and the heights that it's getting to. It's far more organized. The athletes are far more prepared now, and they're just it's just a pleasure to have been a part of watching that growth from day one.
So you talk about that growth because you started in 1997, the first coach of the Panthers, and been there every year except one when you went to the PWHL.
Yeah.
And can you kind of describe like the growth of the women's game and the amount? Like obviously, you have way more players to choose from. I think now than you had in your first year of coach in Howie. Like it's obviously there's way more girls playing the game now than ever before. What's been the biggest area do you think of growth that you've experienced coaching at the university level with the women?
Well, I think just the skill level. And it, as I kind of alluded to, hockey at that time was an alternative sport for females. And, I think a lot of parents were still hesitant putting them in because it's a boys sport and all that stuff. And so it just wasn't the first choice, but I think it's come a long way in becoming a first choice for many young athletes, which is great. But I think so now we're seeing women come into our program that have had all the athletic resources around them, to help make them truly high performance athletes heading in towards the elite model. So skill has been huge. Their strength and conditioning, the size has come a long way. Just their preparedness emotionally and mentally. So it's, in all aspects, the players are far stronger than they were at one time. Not to take anything away from those players. Those players had a lot of those elements, and we were very fortunate early on in U Sports women's hockey to have more of those elements than I think some other teams, and so we're able to have some success as a result of that. But I just think we're seeing consistently across the board just more prepared athletes come into our program.
How was your experience in the PWHL?
Well, it was a unique experience. That's for sure. I think the thing that I learned most is that I got a sense for what it's like to work with the absolute pinnacle. Yeah. So I don't have that opportunity at the U of A. Not only that, these players were far more mature. They had a far stronger sense of who they were and where they were going as athletes and as people. They were grown up. And so that was probably the biggest learning curve for me, was just understanding, okay, I'm coming from coaching young women who really don't have a really strong sense of who they are and where they want to be, and maybe playing a part in helping them shape that or discover that to a place where everybody knew exactly what they wanted. I think that brought challenges. It was great in a lot of ways, but it brought some challenges too.
What was one of the biggest challenges, maybe? How I haven't not been in that realm before?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think probably, and this is, I wouldn't say this is like a black and white challenge, but it's, for me, it's always been about, more about helping young people grow. And I think when I started with the New York team, I think I had the same thing in my mind, that I wanted to help these women grow. And so I probably some of the techniques that I might have brought that were really successful at the varsity level.
Okay.
Brought those to the professional level, and they just really weren't as open to that because they already were grown and they already knew who they were and all that stuff. So and that's one of the things also that I brought out of the Coach Drake's program is just, they really helped us grow as people. And it wasn't just about hockey. There, it's about hockey. They want to win. They're at an elite level already. They've come as far as they're going to go for the most part as human beings, or at least in their minds anyway. And so, so they weren't too interested in that part. They wanted to win hockey games. And as you know, we didn't win a whole bunch.
Yeah, well, and hey, and that's part of it, and that that's a learning experience as a coach. And you say, hey, if I had a different opportunity, I'd probably approach it different the next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Howie, why now? Why was now the time for you to retire?
Well, I just feel like I've lost a little bit of the passion for the game, I think, and I love hockey, and I still love coming to the rink every day, and I love getting on the ice with our athletes. But I think it was just all the preparation, you know, the recruitment, all the things around that goes into the game that I think I kind of lost. And at my level, you know, teams are getting stronger and stronger. The coaches that I'm coaching against are outstanding coaches. They're getting better and better. And I think it's the best thing for the program for me to step aside and hopefully have somebody come in that has new ideas, new energy, and just that passion so that they want to do it 24/7.
Howie, you obviously still have a lot to offer to kids. Do you still find another way to get involved in the game?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I've just recently, I guess for a good portion of my career, I've mentored young coaches as well. And I think that's an area that I could really see myself being involved in. And, you know, for every coach that I might be able to have an impact on or help in some way, they have the opportunity to help, you know, that 25 to 50 to 75, however many young people that they're going to be impacting directly as well. So maybe in that way, I'll have a broader impact on, or continue to have a broader impact on the game. I think that'll be important. I really enjoy that. And then who knows? We'll see what else comes. I'm going to be sticking around the U of A. I've been very fortunate that Leah has given me the opportunity, or offered the opportunity for me to stick around a little bit and support the new coaches that come in. And so we'll see. I might be able to be here for a little bit longer and maybe help raise some funds and do whatever I can to help support the program.
Awesome. Well, Howie, congratulations on an amazing run. You know, the Pandas without Howie Draper will be something new, but like anything, it's you'll have an opportunity to help someone else come in with a younger, youthful passion, and hopefully keep the program going very strong. And if they can get into 15 Canada West titles and 8 national titles, that'll be a pretty good run, because that's what they have to live up to now. So you set the bar pretty high.
Right, absolutely. I'm really excited to see where the program goes, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Howie. Best of luck. Congratulations.
Thank you
on a great career.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. That is Howie Draper, basically the only coach I've ever had for Pandas hockey, which is it's a big deal, man. Like in 28 years, you won the league 50, like you won the title 15 times. You won the national title 8 times. Like, that's pretty impressive. And not to mention influenced a lot of girls and helped them grow as players and as people.
And you just hope that he continues, like he said, to kind of find a way to stay in it and pass it on. I think, you know, his knowledge and experience is something that a lot of people could benefit from. So yeah, congratulations. It's not, you know, anyone that's been in the game that long and made it a career, it's not easy. You know, it was interesting hearing his point of view of just, it takes a lot, right? The hockey almost becomes secondary. It's the recruiting and, you know, all the things that, you know, a lot of people don't see behind the scenes, the preparation, conversations that you have. And he obviously had enough, but really good career. Congrats.
3 o'clock, we will take a break. We'll come back. We got a lot of texts. We'll get into the Conor Murphy trade. If you missed it, Connor Halley will give you the update on what has transpired for the Edmonton Oilers. Busy day, lots of moves for the Edmonton Oilers on waivers and recalls and LTIR and trades. There's a lot happening. As we get to Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Loca. If you want healthy food, chef-prepared food, you can pick it up yourself or they'll deliver it right to you. 2 locations in Sherwood Park in West Edmonton, or online, meals.loca.ca. Eat healthier now.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have acquired right shot defenseman Conor Murphy from the Chicago Blackhawks with 50% of his $4.4 million salary retained. Report states a 2028 second-round pick to Chicago. Murphy was originally selected 20th overall in 2011 and spent the last 9 years in Chicago. Also, Andrew Mangiapane and Alec Regula both turning waivers, now eligible to be assigned to the AHL. On the ice tonight, you've got the Blue Jackets taking on the Rangers, Leafs, Flyers, Stars in Vancouver, Kraken host the Canes, Avs taking on the Kings earlier today. Preds falling at home to the Red Wings by a score of 4-2. In the association, just 4 games tonight. Rockets in Washington, the Bucks host the Celtics, Nuggets taking on the Jazz, and the Clippers up against the Warriors. In the CFL, the Edmonton Elks making some moves, signing 3 defensive backs, Ladarius Tennyson, Ike Brown, and Shamar Walker, along with wide receiver Ife Adai. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and be joined by Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store.
Magnificent Monday
style with Mr. Dirk.
afternoon. How are you?
Every winter plan becomes a spring project. Every repaired line and every improved system is how we build the next chapter of Edmonton's infrastructure. And we can't do that without the best and the brightest in the field. That's why right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators who can step in and hit the ground running.
According to
With a people-first mentality,
Okay, if you
growth,
missed
and
it, Connor-
comprehensive benefits, why would you want to work anywhere else? To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts,
Show
the
presented by
Edmonton
Play Alberta.
Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet
Sean
of flexible
Brown.
event space, in-house catering,
Back,
and
Jason
operational
Gregor.
expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life.
Welcome back.
Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is
Actually, some of
booster
the-
for hazelnuts.
I think. What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. The Gregor Show always brought to you by playalberta.ca. You can get in the action, of course. Tonight, hey, how about the Avs and the Hurricanes on the road? Could they help the Oilers in LA and Seattle, respectively? We'll see. Also, expect some goals tonight. The Flyers and Leafs. I got nothing to play for, baby. Run and gun hockey. And Dallas and the Canucks, the Vancouver Canucks are they're in one right now. They are in a race by themselves. They're doing their job. They've created space. They put themselves in a very good position here down the stretch to secure the best odds for the number 1 pick. They have a 10-point lead over the St. Louis Blues and the New York Rangers with 23 games remaining. So lock it in, I would say. And the Canucks, they're not going to choke this one away. They're not going to choke this one away. They are going to finish it out. They're going to get done. And they will have themselves the best odds to win the draft lottery.
So what is it? The Oilers, the only Canadian hope, right? Because you got
Montreal.
Oh yeah, sorry, Montreal. Yeah.
Montreal and Edmonton look like they're likely. The Ottawa Senators are, well, the thing about the Sens, they're actually a team where goaltending's really let them down. Like, I know Oiler fans like to just blame the goalies. Actually look at the analytics. The Oilers give up way too many chances. You go look at, if you want to say a team that's getting goalied by themselves, it's Ottawa. Ottawa has actually played really well. That will not be an easy game. If they could ever just get even average goaltending, the way they play 5-on-5, they could have some success. So they're 5 points back of the Bruins. They're not out yet. It's damn close, though. They're teetering on the brink of it with 23 games to go. Because I know 5 points doesn't seem like much, but in the last 10 games, they went 6-3-1. You know how many points they gained on Boston? 0. Boston went 5-2-3. They only won half their games, but they got 3 overtime losses, and that gives you that Gary Bettman thank you point. So the Sens, they're still kicking, but they're right on the edge. They can't afford it to. Like, they'll come in hungry tomorrow night. The Oilers should definitely not be taking them easy, and I would hope they don't at this point. When you've given up 46 goals in 10 games, you can't take anybody lightly.
There's no easy games right now coming down the stretch for sure. And then obviously when you get Brady Tkachuk coming into town, you know that he's going to be fired up, right, running around, which is probably a good thing. I think that's probably a good thing for the Oilers right now, because that type of game and that type of player, I think, will bring out the best in some of the Oiler players. So it should be good.
Now let's get to the Conor Murphy trade. Brownie, so here's some data on Conor Murphy, because I had people say, why are the Oilers going after this guy? Because people look at plus minus, and I'm like, guy, he is -3. Okay, on a Chicago team that has been outscored. I got to get the actual number for the Blackhawks. They're -18 5-on-5, and he's only -3. So right there, actually no, they're worse than that. I had the wrong number. They're -30, and he's only -3 at 5-on-5. So it's hard to be a plus player on a team that's -30 at 5-on-5. It just is. Now, they got the best penalty kill unit in the NHL. And guess what? He's one of their top penalty kill guys. So where do the Oilers need help? They need help on the penalty kill. He's a defensive defenseman. The Oilers don't need more puck movers. What did their GM say today? We need to defend better. Full stop. They need to defend better. So Conor Murphy, if you're looking for a guy, because if you only like the flashy outlet passes, because what Conor Murphy does well probably isn't what a lot of fans notice in the game. You'll be like, oh, Conor Murphy played tonight? Great. That means he had a really good game.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, it's just, getting that player that has the identity and is comfortable playing with that. I think that's where your pro scouting comes in handy here. Obviously, they've been watching him and they feel confident in what they're getting. So I'm excited to see. I mean, those guys are, they're hard to find. It's hard to find a guy that's comfortable and confident in playing heavy, hard, uncomfortable hockey. It's exactly what the Oilers need. And you're right. I mean, if he's just a guy that just moves the puck, that's exactly what they need. They got the forwards. They have the skill. They skate, the Oilers forwards skate well. So if they can play good transitional hockey, right, and get in the offensive zone and have that simple defenseman that can do that. And then you maybe, if depending on how he plays, you got Wallman, you got some guys that he can play with that now allow those guys to kind of play a little bit, maybe more to their strengths. And so it's good. But yeah, it's, to have that guy that's going to eat pucks, make it uncomfortable is exactly, it's going to be different.
Oiler fans, here's an area you're going to watch, and I guarantee you this will stand out. Watch Conor Murphy in front of his net. It's not easy for opposing forwards in front of the net, which I still believe is a concern in Edmonton. And Murphy's going to come in, and Brownie, you played there. Like, you can make it hard on guys in front of the net without taking penalties. And the Oilers are a team, like, if there's one area where Darnell Nurse should excel at, it should be making life difficult in front of his own net. And he doesn't do it often enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's there has to be a price to pay, right? And now by having him and having him play that way just brings other guys into the fight as well. So I think it's a good thing. I think, when we were talking to the Dallas Dallas guy, or what was the guy in Seattle that they were bringing, or Lasky that they wanted to bring back, like Oleksiak,
yeah,
right?
for Dallas,
like those guys, right? It's just, they're heavy, they're hard, they're valuable, and everyone needs them, especially if you're going to go on a long playoff run, right? You got to be able to wear teams down. You got to be able to check. You got to be able to shut the cycle down, right? There has to be a little bit of uncomfortableness to, teams when they come into to play the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton. There's, you want guys kind of worrying about, what kind of game it's going to be. It's going to be an uncomfortable game. And, they, like I said, it's those guys are worth their weight in gold because they're just hard to find.
Yes.
And I think that, this year's kind of proven that for the Oilers. Once you get those guys, you got to keep those guys too.
Yes. Oh, 100%. So Conor Murphy is something different for Oiler fans, and different in this case, I think, is very good. A lot of text flying in. Hey guys, did this push Nurse to the third pairing? Shan the man. Well, Murphy's a right shot guy. So you're going to have Wallman, Nurse, and Ekholm on your left side, Bouchard, Murphy, and Emerson on your right side. That's the 60 they have right now. You have now they could recall Regula, but they probably won't. They got Stastny here, so he's your number 7. And is Darnell Nurse suddenly going to go from playing the most minutes 5-on-5 to being 5th? No, he's not. But penalty kill minutes, Murphy's going to take a lot of those. And it's going to be on the right side. So now Wallman, Nurse, Ekholm will kind of rotate around on the left side. I think that's why Nurse doesn't play a ton on the power play. Obviously, Bouchard plays a lot there. So I think you'll have Bouchard and Murphy and Emerson. Like, Emerson's pretty good on the penalty kill too here. So I'm going to be, when we talk third pair, like, Nurse doesn't play third pair minutes. They're not going to suddenly limit him that much, but healthy competition. Yeah, I think this will force him, because now it's like, well, Stastny was the only other option on the left side, and he was always going to play less than Nurse. But now you got Wallman, Ekholm, and Nurse battling for ice time on the left side. Guess what? He's going to have to play better. So I don't know if I fall into the quote third pair, but there's going to be more of a competition.
I like that. I mean, anytime you have competition in your lineup only just makes guys play better, right? You kind of got to keep guys edgy, a little bit uncomfortable. And if this guy can find a way to be consistent, right, and comfortable in the position that he's playing, does it not just kind of it'll try to maybe even some minutes out? It'll take some minutes away from guys and kind of spread it out, because these guys, for the last couple of years, they've been to the Stanley Cup Finals playing in a Game 7. Like, these guys have played a ton of hockey, right? So they need some guys that can kind of come in here and take some minutes and take some heavy, uncomfortable minutes away from some guys. Not that, you're going to give them a complete rest, but, you got to, spread it out a little bit more coming down the stretch, especially if you want to go on a long run.
Hey, Brownie, would you say Knobloch's system and ideology are about not needing physical play that plays in the mind of Nurse?
Has he come out and said that they don't need physical play?
Like,
I think
especially in front of the net. Like, I don't know any system, Brownie, that says, okay, guys, here's our breakout system. We don't want to play tough in front of the net.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think Knobloch is the same as any other coach that wants guys, and he's talked about it in his post-game interviews, right? He knows there needs to be a sense of urgency and they need to be able to check better. So I don't think his message would be any different than anyone else. It's just eventually, you can say what you want. Eventually the athlete, the actual player, has to take the initiative and want to buy into playing the role that he needs to be. That's one thing that, with anyone, it doesn't matter who you bring in or who's in the lineup. And that's a little bit of the issue with the Oilers right now, is you don't know, and as a coach, necessarily what you're going to get. Guys aren't really playing to their identity. If you look at the Oilers lineup, you look at, the guys that are playing desperate, playing uncomfortable, and playing to their identity. There's not enough of them. You look at, what is it? Podkolzin, Kapanen, Roslovic, Savoy's playing well. Obviously McDavid and Draisaitl, but after that, it's, Nugent Hopkins, but, there's too many guys and too many nights and too often that, they're not playing to an identity. They're playing a game, but they're not really adding any value to themselves or to the team. So, I guess getting back to your point, yeah, it's every coach wants. I don't think that has anything to do with Nurse. I think, they've talked about his strength, his identity, and how he needs to play. Eventually, it's got to come down to the player just feeling comfortable playing that way.
Yeah. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, are there any other Connors we can add? Connor McDavid, Connor Ingram, Conor Murphy, Connor Clattenburg. Oh, they got rid of Connor Brown, so they had to replenish the Connor side of things. I'm trying to think if there's another Connor who's available right now.
How far is Clattenburg from? Because that would be another. I mean,
yeah,
he's a young guy and he could probably use more time in the minors, but
he's got to be able to make some plays. I like his energy, and I think he's a guy, honestly, that next year comes to camp and says, you know what? I think I'm gonna have a chance to. He's a very, very specific role, right? He's a fourth liner who's going to bring you energy. That's what he is. And to me, there's absolutely zero wrong with that in my eyes. But he still isn't back playing yet. With he's close. He was hoping to be at the end of February. So we'll talk to Holt. Holt thought he was maybe going to play last weekend, but obviously didn't end up getting in. So he hasn't played since January 7th.
Yeah. I mean, he's young, right?
Yes.
And he does need a little bit of time, I agree, in the minors. But yeah, for sure. I mean, next year he's got to be licking his lips and making sure that he has a good summer and puts on a little bit of weight. And hopefully he can get in some games in the minors and get some experience. But he's exactly what they need. I mean, those types of players that feel comfortable playing that style of hockey are hard to find. And if they can find that, in their bottom 3 or 4, they need that.
Yes. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Guys, I think ultimately Nurse is going to play with Murphy. Well, I don't disagree with you, Pete. I think you'll see them try some looks here, but I think at the end of it, you're going to have Bouchard and Echo, and you'll have Nurse and Murphy. Not maybe right away, but that would be, and then Wallman and Emerson. And you know what? There's the value of a number 5 defenseman. We saw it in Brett Kulak. And right now, I don't really care about cap hit. I know Jake Wallman's making $7 million. People are like, oh my God, he's a $7 million player in your third pair. Now, how many minutes does he play? That's what I look at more than what pairings he had. If my number 5 defenseman plays 19 minutes because it's how it's spread out amongst the 5, they don't really care. It's not really a third pair defenseman, right? So it's more about minute allocation than it is 1, 2, 3 pairing. Don't get caught up in pairing. Look at time on ice.
I think it just would add. I mean, if that was the case, I mean, you look at, Nurse and Murphy there, they would just be, imagine playing against those guys, like how uncomfortable that could possibly be. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it all just kind of depends on how they play with each other, finding chemistry. And if they can find their game, this could be good for Nurse. And this is, for Wallman to move down, but that shouldn't look at it, like you said, it shouldn't take away from his game. He's still got to play the same game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, it's been a little bit of a struggle for Wallman, just injury wise, right? He hasn't been able to kind of, with his injuries, get any real kind of traction. So maybe coming down the stretch here, he can kind of find his game, and, it could be the strength of the Oilers, the fact that he is on the third pairing D.
Hey guys, speaking of Connors, maybe go get Hellebuck. I can't believe what a pathetic GM that he hasn't got Connor Hellebuck yet. Brutal. Like, that's a fail. Come on, Bowman. Come on.
It'll be interesting to see with this deadline, like how active do you think it's actually going to be? And if you're a GM, it's always kind of interesting to see if do you see teams or GMs pulling the trigger a little sooner than the actual deadline? Or
well, it always varies, right? Like some teams might wait till the last possible moment. Hey, what do we got 2 more games. We play Monday, Wednesday. Geez, if we win them both, we're 1 point out. Maybe we're not going to. So I think that plays a factor for some teams.
Because they're not just a player too, though. Like a player would determine that, right? If there's a certain player that certain teams want, and you make the move.
Like if you're Columbus. So Columbus is 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. They're 5 points out of a playoff spot with the game in hand. So, they look, and they had a tough weekend. They did get a point, but, they had a tough weekend, losing some games that they would have ideally have liked to win, and it didn't happen. So I think like that's an organization. It's like, we're not going to trade away a guy just to get a second round pick. it doesn't really help us at this. Like, what's another second rounder for the Columbus Blue Jackets? There's way more value for them to actually make the playoffs, right? So I think Columbus is a team, like they got the New York Rangers tonight, and like New York's at home, or you got to win. You got to find a way to win that game. Then you got Nashville, then you got Florida, Utah, LA. Like they don't have an overly tough schedule. They got Tampa Bay for sure. You know, they play Florida twice, but Florida, I think they're done now, like officially after last weekend. But they got the Rangers twice. Nashville's played really well, but the Flyers, Seattle, Flyers again. So they have an okay sked, right? Not a lot of back-to-backs. You know, a 3-game road trip, nothing real big travel by any stretch. So I think if you're Columbus, you're going to wait for this week because they've got Charlie Coyle, they've got Marchman, and they got Boone Jenner. Those are 3 guys that other teams are looking for. And maybe you could trade one of them and get something, but still stay in the mix. But they've got 3 games still before the deadline. They play tonight, Tuesday, and Thursday. And so let's say they win 2 of those 3. I don't think they trade. But if, let's say, they lose all 3, then they might say, wow, now our odds are really low. Let's trade off some guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Columbus is the one team and I think a lot of other teams are like, hey, there's some center icemen I really like. Coyle and Jenner, very attractive. But if all of a sudden Columbus wins 3 in a row, well, they're not going to trade them. So it varies from team to team, I think.
It's always interesting to see too, like what teams. I know Detroit last year, they didn't make some moves, right? And there's some I think it's kind of important for some teams for their GM to make a move to show that the team that, hey, you know what, like we're pretty serious about this and we're ready to kind of make a move. So it'll be interesting to see those teams that make a move and don't make a move. But you know, do you feel like the Oilers are a team? Like, do you think they're going to be able to make another move that's going to make an impact in their lineup? Like, what if they don't make another move? Are you just happy with what they have
for the Oilers?
Yeah.
To me, this was their biggest need, and Conor Murphy's not the best available right defenseman, but the cost fits right into their wheelhouse. I think in an ideal world, they'd still like to add another forward if they could.
Yeah. If they don't, are you pretty confident with this team?
Well, the Oilers, because the division isn't great, and the Oilers have shown us time, like people last year, the Oilers aren't going to get back to the Stanley Cup final. They're not as good. They said it all year, and then they got back to Stanley Cup final. Like, this team doesn't like to do it easy. People say, well, you got more questions about the goaltending. You all had the same questions about the goalie last year. You all thought Skinner sucked and he could never get to the Cup final. And guess what? It got you to the Cup final again. With some help from Pickard, sure. Doesn't matter who's in goal. The goalie's got you to the Cup final 2 years in a row. So could the Oilers win 2 rounds? No question. To me, the big thing is, can they stay healthy? And that's why I think I'd add another forward, just because history tells us you're going to get some injuries, and the more depth you have, the better it is. So we'll see. Quick break. When we return, we will we're going to hear more from Stan Bowman. We've also got Kevin Woodley talking goalies on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You think they're going to get rid of that, Henry?
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul. Edmonton Trailer.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks.
We're turning Jasper Avenue green.
Your 5-day St. Paddy's Day party kicks off Friday at OTR.
With live entertainment every day.
Including the Feelin' Lucky burlesque show on Sunday.
Plus pipers, Irish dancers, and doors open at 9 a.m. on the 17th.
We got more green beer than Marco has fancy shirts. And trust me, that's a lot.
Lucky the Leprechaun will be there.
Will you?
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks. Next round's on me. Woohoo!
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Seven, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor, Hallie. Oh, there is another Connor, of course. Can't forget Hallie, right? May get him on. May he could be like the water boy. He'd kill it at that job. Hey, Con man, absolutely kill it. So we'll see. Hey, you ever been the water boy, Cons?
No, I've never been the water boy, but anything to help the team. Whatever's needed, yeah, let me know.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. See, Con's always a team player. Always a team player. People are asking other Connors, hey, Hellebuck, yeah, that'd be a great addition. I don't think get it. Bedard, no, probably not going to get Bedard, right? I don't think they have the cap space to do it. So you'd like him for sure. We'll see. Let's talk some hockey as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. Man, we're into March, the final month. BCHL action. Saints and the Crusaders separated by 1 point as they battle for seeding in the division. Get your tickets at sgsaints.ca. As Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us once again. Woodley, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Never been a water boy myself either, but I've offered my services as an emergency goaltender for practices, thinking that if you ever need a team to, increase their confidence from a scoring standpoint, I'm your guy. As much as I should be scared of NHL shots, none of them would hit me, so I'd be good. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Don't sell yourself short. I know you pulled a groin, so I know that the effort would always be there, right? E for effort from Woodley. He's not the guy showing up not trying. Right?
Try hard.
Do they not have a backup like when I was in Edmonton, obviously?
Oh, no, they always do. Yeah. Brad,
right?
Brad German is one of their extra goals.
Yeah,
he was actually out there just the other day. I saw him just taking extra rubber.
So who does Vancouver have?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it's a mortgage broker from out near Abbotsford. He used to be the Abbotsford Canucks. And I apologize to him if he ever hears this, because I should know his name. It's on the tip of my tongue, and that's embarrassing. He does a really nice job with it. Don't forget, guys, that's actually going to be a mandatory position next year.
Yes.
Like, you're going to have a practice goalie. Now, how you use them in practice is up to you, but you're going to have a goalie on the roster that travels with the team. Because
so there's no e-bugs anymore.
Oh, that's right. Every team has to bring their own guy. And we've seen teams travel that type of player. Now, because of the old rules, they couldn't be the e-bug. But like the Penguins have traveled one of Crosby's buddies from back home for years as a practice goalie. The Leafs have traveled a practice goalie for a couple of years now. Utah did it this year when they came into town here in Vancouver. I noticed both goalies on one end of the rink working on their warm-up routine, Vanacek and Vejmelka. And then there was a third goalie down at the other end. And here's the beauty. This is where it counts. You're on the road. Power play unit 1 wants to work on puck movement on fresh ice. The goalies do not want to be seeing power play unit number 1 at the beginning of their skate. They want to get their warm-up in. Having that sacrificial lamb, that poor practice goalie, he gets down there, moves around the crease, and he's taking PP1 shots right away. They get right into it without the fear of one of your 2 main goalies pulling a groin or getting hurt, having to ramp up to speed that quickly. So that's a small snippet of how you can use something like that really effectively, not just for the goalies, but for other parts of the team as well.
Yeah, and now the guy can't be somebody that you could sign, right? You can't take your e-bug and then sign to the contract, right? He can't be somebody who's signed. So there are certain stipulations for it.
So you're saying there's a chance for me is what you're saying.
Hey, you never know. Well, there's lots of goalies out there, guys who have played youth sport who thought their career is over. And my understanding is I think it's going to be at least a 6-figure salary because you're traveling all the time. It's got to be, man. Like you're at practice, and trust me, like you want to talk about kind of a thankless job. Like, yeah, it's great to be around the team, but you're competitive. I don't care who you are. Eventually, like, God, I'm just taking shot after shot after. Like, there's no reward here. I never get into a game. So I think it'll be fascinating to see kind of the mindset of those people. I'm sure it'll be fun. Like, and the good teams will be the ones who make that guy feel valued and part of the team. Those guys, the leaders on team, bring him out to team dinners, everything like that. You make him feel valued. Then he'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll take more needless shots for another half an hour, 40 minutes after practice with the extra skaters.
I thought it was great. When we had Floydie, he was a part of our team. And I mean, he would sit there. That's when, he would go in net. I felt bad for the guy because I remember LaRock like practicing his one-timers at like the hash marks. Yeah. And he would take his stuff off at the end of practice, never complained. And he was just full of welts, like right after practice. And he never complains once. Like it was just, those guys don't get enough credit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I'm not sure what the rules are, Jason. Sorry about whether how much pro experience you can't come into the like you can. I'm not 100% sure what the previous pro experience rules are, but this is going to be one of the lines that teams have to find because the reason that players don't like the idea of a third practice goalie for a lot of guys is they want to be shooting on an NHL quality guy. They don't want it to be some 45-year-old, or in my case, 52-year-old beer leaguer who can't play the role.
Yes. Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be a lot of young players coming out of youth sport who don't have a pro contract. That's who it's going to be.
Great way to transition into behind the scenes, whether you do some extra video work or even if you want to get into goalie coaching.
Yeah, it's very smart. Now let's look at the goalies and some teams that potentially available. Like I look at Toronto, and people are talking about all these trades for Toronto because they've got Hildeby, and I don't think he'll go through waivers next year, Kev. They got to trade one of their 2 goalies. So you might as well look now at the deadline and see if a team would have any interest. No?
The only thing I would say to that is it depends on the interest. I'm with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think Dennis Hildeby showed a lot. I don't think he gets through waivers. I think a lot of teams would look at him next year the way they looked at Brandon Bussey this year and the success he's having with the Carolina Hurricanes and think, hey, like really big-bodied goaltender, chance to get him for free. Like, I'll take that shot. And he had a lot of success this year. Hildeby was really good for them. And so the only thing I don't know, Jason, is depending on what the market is, and let's be honest, goaltending, a lot of teams feel the need to think they've solved it by now because there's not enough runway for a lot of guys to get comfortable behind a new team. So if the market's soft now, is that a move you make in the summer if you're the Maple Leafs when maybe you've had a chance to rehab a little bit of Anthony Stoller's images? Like, because this is the first down season he's had in the last 4 years where it's not just about injuries, it's about injuries and he's not stopping pucks at the rate he has pretty consistently up until this year. So that would be the only hesitation I would have. If you believe in Hildeby, you've still got Wool. I'm assuming that Stolarz would be the guy. He's on a bargain ticket. If you get the Anthony Stolarz of the previous 3-4 years, it's just been a bit of a tougher year for him to sort of find his groove in Toronto. So that might be the one downside. You're not getting as much right now as you could perhaps in the summer.
Kev, what are your thoughts on the Connor's when he came out of the crease there to go grab his stick? Like from a goalie's point of view, is that the right call? What are your thoughts on that play?
Doesn't end up being the right call because it goes in. it's a helpless feeling as a goalie. And yeah, I think that's something that's universal, whether you're in the NHL or, a schmuck like me playing beer league. You lose your stick, you see it in the corner, you feel naked without it. It sort of becomes a rudder for a lot of your movements, becomes a big part of a lot of your save execution. Even your blocker just feels totally unnatural without it. So I understand the urgency to get it back. I think for the most part, you're waiting till that puck's into the other end. I don't know that there's a rule of thumb like there is on a rim. If it's along the ice, you go get it. If it's up on the glass, you leave it. I don't know that there's a rule of thumb, but I would think it would be something along the lines of, let's make sure that puck is dumped into the other zone before we venture off into the corner. And I would be shocked if we see him do that again without the puck being down in the other end. And the other team, ideally on a dump, the defensemen having their backs turned to you as they go back to retrieve it.
Kev, there's Binnington, who potentially is available. You look at teams who are in the mix, and I know Oilers fans are like, what about us? They should trade for a goalie. I'm just not sure they're going to necessarily do it again. I wouldn't rule it out 100%, but I think it's probably low odds it happens. Is there a team that you see as a clear team that needs a goalie, like Montreal? Should Montreal go after Bobrovsky?
Oh, that's such a tough. Those are all it's tough questions. Jakub Dobeš has given them really good goaltending for the past since late January. I know it's a short sample. But he's inconsistent. And what does it look like in the playoffs? Sam Montembeault hasn't been able to find his game to the same level. I guess it depends on the conversations you're having with your new goalie coach, because don't forget they made a change. Marco Marciano is a guy that I know really well, and I believe in a lot of what he does. And if he's telling you, hey, we're making strides, we're comfortable, this guy can be our guy, then maybe it's an easier decision. If we're talking about a Bobrovsky, or if we're talking about a Jordan Binnington, I do think you have to do the comparisons on environment. Yes, it's really easy to be like, Sergei Bobrovsky's won 2 straight Stanley Cups. I want that guy in the playoffs. And for sure, playoff Bob has been a different beast. But much like the conversations around Binnington this year heading into the Olympics, his numbers have fallen off a cliff this year. He's been below expected for each of the past 2 regular seasons, and then morphed into this superhero come playoff time. So there's regular season Bob and there's playoff Bob. But assuming that you're getting playoff Bob on another team, if you don't present the same type of environment in front of him, I just think it really is all about what's going on in front of these goaltenders. And I think Binnington's the perfect example. 864 in St. Louis, gold medal game with Canada. So assuming, because he's a good goalie, he showed he can be a good goalie. But assuming you get that Canadian goaltender, if you're a team that's going to present an environment like the Blues are for him, I think you're more likely to still get the guy who's got an 864. Right? It's not about big moments and pressure. He's showing he can answer that. But if the things around him don't look like they did in that tournament, expecting him to produce similar results, and the same with Hellebuck in Winnipeg. There's a portion in Winnipeg of people that are like, oh, if we get that guy down the stretch, we're golden. We're going to get into the playoffs. Well, listen, that guy in the Olympics, there were 2 backdoor opportunities. One he made an incredible 1 out of 10 save on. The other one McKinnon missed on. You come back to Winnipeg, and now there's 6 of those a game. So if 2 go in, that's one more than 8. It's just not the same. And so I think you have to do those calculations if you're the Montreal Canadiens, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, and you're considering an upgrade. And then you have to add to it, again, especially in Binnington's case, a goalie who is so aggressive and goes off reads, is he going to be comfortable enough reading behind your system in whatever? Most teams have 20 games left with back-to-backs. I'm guessing you'd maybe get into 15. Is that enough to be comfortable? And so I'd be surprised if we see a big move like that this season because of all the uncertainty that surrounds it. Obviously depends on the price, but I would think it would be pretty high for either guy, because my assumption, and I've had this sort of echoed back to me by people that are close to it, is that Sergei Bobrovsky will just re-sign in Florida at a much lower price. And I still think, just given the way all the things that have affected their season to get them to here, I think you can still look at him and we can roll this back. And I think the price to pull him out of there and risk losing that would probably be more than the risk is worth.
That's interesting, because right now I've heard some rumblings that he's asking for a pretty big ticket, and Florida's like, I'm not sure. So we'll see where that goes from there. What about Binnington? I know you've talked a lot about Binnington needs to be in a system that works to how he plays the game. Do you see a team whose style fits how Binnington plays goal?
Actually, like it's tough, because there are just a couple of key factors. Like, do you give up east-west plays? That's a big one because he plays so aggressively. But even within that, it's like, are they predictable? Like, everybody gives up some east-west, but are these things you can see and predict and read? Because he also does that really well. The one that I actually think he'd be really good at, like anecdotally, and then the numbers sort of check out too, is probably a team that's not looking, but Jordan Binnington with the Carolina Hurricanes, where they do give up a lot of quality, but not a lot of quantity. Not every goalie can, I don't think he got enough credit, both Four Nations and in the Olympics, for his ability to come up with timely saves after going 5 minutes between shots while the other guy's standing on his head because he's under siege. Like, that's a really difficult thing to do mentally. There are goalies, and I hate to point to him, as my poster child example, but he really was. Curtis Joseph, in my opinion, should be in the Hall of Fame. And you put him in Edmonton facing 70 a night, and look out, he will ruin your game. He will beat you. You put him in Detroit facing 20 a night with all the expectations that came with it. It was a different guy. Like, it's not easy to do that. And Binnington's shown he can. And Carolina is one of those environments where, and as much as they give up quality off the rush, they also insulate on second chances. Like, they don't give up second chance opportunities. They protect the house pretty well. And again, that's an area, broken plays, second chance opportunities, rebounds, where Binnington's gotten killed in St. Louis. You go to Canada, didn't have to worry about it as much, was insulated on those chances and looked much better. I think Carolina would be a fit. I just don't, necessarily believe they're a team that's looking.
Hey, Kevin, what do you think of, like, obviously game wins and the games are obviously important coming down the stretch here. That looks like the Oilers are going to go with the hot goalie. Do you see any concerns with that? Or do you think, to me, I thought Jarry was kind of brought in here to be the guy. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, two things. One, because I did run some numbers for you guys today, and I thought maybe we'd take a look at what I think we know, right? I've heard the conversations in Edmonton a little bit. You guys are watching the games. They've been way too porous defensively, right? Like, that's a given. But in the last 10 games, and this actually reflects their season overall, but in the last 10 games, high percentage chances. So the worst, most dangerous types of chances, 5-on-5, 30th in the National Hockey League. Rush chances, high danger, 32nd in the National Hockey League. D-zone 26, PK 28th. If anything, Sean, that's what needs to change. I don't know that it matters who's in goal. If you are that far down the list, it doesn't translate in the playoffs. We talked about 2 years ago how I thought they were a team that was ripe for a run because their defensive environment was so good under Knoblauch. Last year it dipped, but then down the stretch and in the playoffs, it got back to that. Right now, they look nothing like that team. They're on the polar opposite of the league spectrum in terms of where they rank. Instead of being top three, they're bottom three, and in many cases, dead last in a lot of the key categories. So that's the first thing that has to change. Now, to get to your question, I don't love winning you're in. I just don't love winning you're in. I understand it at times, and I understand it a little bit in this time. And hey, like, this is pro sports. This is big boy stuff. So I do get it. But man, isn't there enough pressure on this position right now on these two guys? And hopefully there's some reasonableness in there. Like, if you play a really good game, but you don't win, you lose 2-1 or 3-1 even, but you can see that, like, hey, we continued, because honestly, 3 goals right now, the way they're defending would be a good game, because they're averaging like close to 4 a game in terms of expected against right now. So giving up 3 is good, but if you lose 3-2, do you lose your spot? How do you build confidence if you feel like you've done some things in your game and taken steps, working on it in practice? And I felt I executed it. Oh, but we lost, so I don't get back in next time. Man, I hope the other guy doesn't go on a heater. I might not get it back in for a week. Like, I just think there's a lot of extra things it adds to it. I'd probably be looking to make sure, like, at the end of the day, you can be disappointed that they haven't had a guy establish himself as the guy. But short of that, I think your next best thing is to have both guys playing well, as opposed to trying to force one guy playing incredibly. Because I think you're more likely to get both of these guys playing just slightly above average if you make a better environment or create a better environment in front of them. Tristan Jarry's expected save percentage since January 22nd is .859. Like, .859. That's what the average goalie stops seeing those chances. Ingram's is 869. Jari's is the 4th lowest in the league since January. I just went through the last 10 games. That's January 22nd.
Okay.
Ingram's is the 12th lowest. Like those are tough. Hey, and listen, Jake Allen's 858. He's actually got a slightly worse environment than Tristan Jarry. He's outperforming it by 3%. Both of these guys are underperforming this environment. So like they're not holding water, but I'm just trying to give you a perspective on how bad the environment actually is.
Yeah, that's not good. It's hey, that's why Conor Murphy, maybe now one guy can't solve everything. That's obvious. Stan Bowman was pretty direct in his comments today about how the team's got to get back to playing better defensive hockey. So we'll see if they can. So I leave you with this. Do you think a goalie will be traded before Friday? And if so, who?
I actually don't. And maybe I've just misread this and I'll be totally proven wrong. But I do think, like we saw Edmonton make their moves in December. We saw Colorado make their moves in December last year. I still struggle to see Bob getting traded. And ditto Bennington. I think most teams understand. And listen, I've been proven wrong many times before when it comes to overestimating teams' understanding of the position. But I think we've gone past a point where teams look at Bob and just say, that's a 2-time Stanley Cup winner. He'll be that guy here. Or Jordan Bennington, look at Olympic gold medal game, 4 Nations champion, Stanley Cup. He'll be that guy here. I think most teams understand that the keys to those success is in part the environment around them. Unless I can provide that same type of environment that Canada did, that the Panthers did during 2 straight cup runs, I'm not so sure I'm going to get that guy. I think more teams have that understanding, but we'll have to wait and see by Friday. Maybe I'm overestimating their understanding of the position.
Kev, great stuff, buddy. If there's a goalie trade, we'll be talking on Friday. So thanks very much, and we will chat with you again.
I will be here because the Canucks are not, but I will be at the rink, so I'm available should one occur.
Awesome. That is Kevin Woodley from InGoal Magazine and NHL.com. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. We'll come back. We got 5 questions next. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already. Yeah, we're working in your basement. Doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy. With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great. But you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 1-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love, better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's AquaCentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. The Break is here to help with deals on your entire bedroom. Save up to 50% off clearance mattresses, 50% off beds when you buy any 3 matching pieces. Buy one, get one half price on ceiling memory foam pillows, and save $100 off any adjustable power base when you buy a mattress over $9.99. Plus, check out other incredible savings in every department. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick in South Common, West Ed Mall, North Side, and downtown.
I know you want to leave me.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's has you covered. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code $999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
350. Welcome back. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where tomorrow night, the rookie Evan Bouchard lottery, $75 million and 12 max millions. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. Good luck. Woo, good luck on that. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. They're here to help you get a better sleep because many of you don't get enough sleep. 50% off mattresses right now. Also, you can get 50% off beds when you buy any 3 matching pieces at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1. Did anything stand out to you as Stan Bowman spoke to the media earlier today?
I guess probably the most important thing was Stan Bowman, I thought, was pretty direct. And he said, hey, our team isn't playing good enough. We're not committed to playing the right way to win hockey games. And he didn't name anybody by name, but he said goalies need to play better, defense, forwards. We can't be worried about trying to score every shift. So I think he basically was polite way of saying he thinks his team's cheating too much around the ice. And lately the numbers match it up. We just heard the numbers from Woodley, and I've outlined the fact the Oilers have given up the most goals in the NHL, 46. Their goalie expected save percentage is .869, means that in the an average goalie, that's what we would have based on the environment. So teams got to clean things up.
Yeah, obviously I think he made it sound like he's got to make potentially a few changes if he can, but if he can't, he made it sound like he's got the players that if they play the right way can get the job done, and that's kind of what I took out of it.
Question number 2, looking at the Oilers trip in California, some really good and then some not so good. What was the biggest thing that stood out to you in those 3 games?
For me, it was just the inconsistency and the ability to just really commit themselves to just checking, playing away from the puck and playing hard, right? It's, they obviously, it's been talked about, they scored enough goals, they got enough skill and ability, and if that side of the game you don't want to commit to and play, you're not going to win, you're going to struggle.
To me, the thing that stood out is in your 2 losses, you scored 9 goals, 4 and 5, and lost both games. So offense, I don't want to hear anybody complain about the Oilers' offense. Offense isn't their problem. They need to be better defensively. Full stop, pump the brakes, nothing else. Better defense.
Question number 3, we've seen 1 trade so far for the Oilers. How many more will they make before the deadline?
I think that's a tough one because, I think because of the cap and they're not in, it's a tough position to be. Can they get rid of Mangiapane? I don't know. It's, I guess that's always the exciting thing about trade deadline is, tuning in to see what GMs can be creative. And there's always a trade at the deadline that nobody's ever, thought about, or, the professionals haven't really spoken about it. So I don't know. Today's trade, I think, looks good. It, addresses a need. So, I'm not too sure what the Oilers have in store.
How many more moves? I'm going to say 1.
Minor one?
Yeah. Decent, because the truth of the matter is they got no cap space now once they get everybody moved here. They got Jan Mark on LTIR, so that allowed them to maybe bring in Murphy. But if you want to make a move, it's money in, money out, or Mangiapane, right? Because right now Mangiapane, even though he's in the minors, still counts $2.45 million on your cap. So the Oilers, they got to move that out to any team, and so it might have to cost a sweetener to do it. So They did keep remember the second round they gave up for Murphy was also for 2028. But you don't want to give him too big of a sweetener because that's basically just saying, God, what a terrible signing it was less than 8 months ago, right? So that's the only move I really see happen. I know a lot of people talk about a 3C, and I'm sure, but they got to get a team to convince to take Andrew Mangiapane. He's got another year left. That's the hard part.
Question number 4. Outside of the Oilers, which team do you think needs to go all in before the deadline?
Well, we always say all in, but I don't know if one player is going to be all in for teams. So I think there's a few teams, Colorado, Dallas. Dallas needs more scoring, I think, if they want to compete. I think that Colorado, I still wouldn't be surprised if they had another defenseman. And I'll say Carolina. If Carolina is the team, to me, not sure who they can add, but they got to add some more offense.
I was thinking Carolina too, but I'll also go with Dallas. Dallas has always kind of been knocking on the door. They have some good pieces. They got a good goaltender. They're a team, but yeah, I mean, Carolina's always been, they've always been there and just haven't been able to get over the hump. So it'd be nice to kind of see them get on a little bit of a run.
Final question for you guys. On this day last year, it was the Academy Awards. So I'm going to ask you if you had to recommend a movie for someone to watch that was released in the year 2025, which would it be?
I'll go with Marty Supreme. It's loosely based on the ping pong. There's a little ping pong action in it, so I'll go with
you
that
a big
one.
ping pong fan?
I'm a big ping pong player.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Big ping pong player. Oh, man. I'm trying to think if I've seen a good movie this year. Not really in theaters. I really haven't. I'd probably say, two movies. I will say Sinners for adults. And if you're a parent, got kids, Zootopia 2. Banger of a flick. It was awesome. So yeah, those would be my two. Cons?
I don't think I saw a movie in 2025 from the year. So I guess Sinners, because people say it's pretty good, but no, I haven't seen any movies from 2025.
You didn't go to one movie theater last year?
You just had a kid.
You didn't? Yeah, well, it's not dead.
How do you get out?
God, I've had a kid. It's called Grandparents. They love it. They come over for it's 3 hours, right? Come on, even movies they go in theater, they're released. You can watch them online.
Yeah.
It's not. You didn't see one 2025 movie the whole year. That's wild.
I know.
It's a pretty big accomplishment.
As you guys were discussing it, I was scrolling through. How did I not see Sinners or the newest Jurassic Park? But I haven't seen any of these, so I just trust what you guys say.
Jeez, that's wild.
Well, I'll just say I didn't watch any of the awards, but I've seen some of the tweets, and Hollywood's looking weird. Some of the looks of some of the people coming out, I'm like, they don't even look the same.
What was the award last night? Actor something? Is that a new one? Am I living under a rock?
I don't.
Because honestly, Cons, is that one new? Listeners, how old is that one?
The 30s. That was the 32nd annual, I believe.
And what's it called? The Actors what?
The Actor Awards.
What the hell is that? Honestly,
it was formerly known as the Screen Actors Guild
Award. Okay, Screen Actors Guild. Okay, well, there you go. At least I'd heard of that one. That one just seems a little bit even more hey, all the actors, let's get together and pat each other on the back. I don't know. It's just how many damn awards you have for this? You have one movie. We don't have, and you have one NHL Player Awards. You don't have one NHL Player Awards, and then, now we're going to have the Rogers NHL Player Awards. Now we're going to have the Sports 1440 Player Awards. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same 5 or 6 movies, and Golden Globes gave this one a winner. It's basically just more BS. Let's call a spade a spade. Come on.
I'm tuning in just to see how weird everyone's starting to look.
Really?
That's what I find the most interesting is no one's just aging gracefully.
Well, yeah, a lot of people, I always kind of feel sorry for someone who, some of them just have, major facial construction.
They don't even look like the same person.
Oh, God. I'm just man, that would, you feel that you have to do that.
And do you look better? I don't know if they
them,
even look better.
No. Lots of them are just oof.
Yeah. Waking up with that in the morning and just being what what is
Yeah,
that?
like, hey, man, like I remember dyed my hair a few times and you're just like, oh, that can grow out, or in this case, shave it off and then it never grows back. And, you move on. But like some of it, like I get if you have something small, maybe you want a little small lip injection that most people can't tell, but then they get those lip injections and they're just like, it's like someone punched them in the face all day, every day. And they walk around just like,
and where does it end? Where does it end?
It.
And it's like the weird, I always, I have young kids. I have a young daughter, and that's like my biggest fear, right? Is just what they see and what they're exposed to. And I'm just like constantly talking to her and reassuring the fact that
like looks aren't going to make you happy. Be happy with what you got. Like it's bring some personality.
Speaking of that, there was a few kids on your team that dyed their hair. I didn't notice if your son did he dye?
No, a few guys on our team.
Maybe it was our team. Maybe it was Stratco and I noticed more kids walking around with blonde hair.
A few guys in our team went with the buzz cut.
Oh, okay.
And then they're trying to convince the players that when we get to the elimination round, if we make it, then the rest of the guys have to. So they're having a little, but there's a few guys that really like their hair.
Well, my son did it. All his teammates did it. And I loved his hair when he was younger because it was long and wavy, and I was like, "Right, don't do it." And he wanted.
Hey, you got to be part of the team.
Oh yeah,
so if the team votes on it, it's kind of like, hey,
oh,
you know what? It's and the hair when you're that they're 12, 13, the hair's growing back, like whatever.
Yeah,
I get why some people don't maybe love the bleach blonde because they worry that it hurts the hair and stuff. And I'm like, I get that, but still,
it does dry out and look off.
Yeah, a buzz cut though, like it's fine. It grows back pretty quick.
And
way you go. And a lot of them, once they get it once, they're like, oh, this is amazing. It's low maintenance. Get up, boom, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Brownie, have a good one. So the Oilers have made Conor Murphy the newest acquisition of the team. Do you think other trades? How many other ones? 0, 1, 2.
I'm going to say 0. That's probably not what Oiler fans want to hear, but I think there's there's the pieces there that if, like Stan talked about, if they commit themselves to playing the right way and playing defense, playing heavy, hard, they got the numbers, they got the guys. And, when you got the two best players in the world too, and it's a team that just hasn't made it easy and they continue to not make it easy.
No,
so
this is kind of who they are, right? They need to get punched in the face a few times. And then they're like, oh, okay, let's wake up. Yeah. That's kind of what they do. Now, it doesn't guarantee a success, as we all know. But, do I think the Oilers, like we have people thinking the Oilers won't make the playoffs. I think that's a little strange. Like you honestly feel more confident that Seattle and San Jose can beat out Edmonton? Because that's what has to happen for the Oilers to miss the playoffs.
When you got the two best players in hockey right now, they're just going to will. Those guys just will will their way. It's just a question on how far. And it'd be nice.
It's actually, sorry, I was wrong. It's San Jose and LA because Seattle's currently in the second wild card spot. So you think those teams are beating out the Oilers? Like, okay. But that would be odd for me. So we'll see. Brownie, have a great day.
All right.
Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They'll fix your vehicle from wheels, tires, oil changes, any sort of vehicle repair, all in one stop. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have acquired right shot defenseman Conor Murphy from the Chicago Blackhawks with 50% of his $4.4 million salary retained. There'll be a 2028 second-round pick going back to Chicago. Murphy was originally selected 20th overall back in 2011. He spent the last 9 years in Chicago. Also, Andrew Mangiapane and Alex Regula both clearing waivers. In the NHL tonight, you got the Jackets and Rangers. Flyers up against the Leafs. Canucks host the Stars. Kraken take on the Hurricanes, Avs, and Kings. And earlier today, Red Wings doubled up the Preds 4-2 in the association. Just 4 games, Rockets and Washington. Bucks host the Celtics. Nuggets taking on the Jazz, and the Clippers head to the Bay Area to take on the Warriors. In the CFL, the Edmonton Elks signing defensive backs Ladarius Tennyson, Ike Brown, and Jemariah Walker, along with American wide receiver Ife Hidei. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Chicago Blackhawks beat reporter Tab Bamford, and here another edition of the Oiler Report. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. What's immediately with no overtime rate?
Jason Gregor. Sports 14.
If you need it immediately,
.ca, you-
combo it with AC.
The Gregor Show presented by Play.
No payments and no interest for 1 year.
Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Con.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great.
.ca.
But you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a
Changes
medium one-topping pizza
any sort
for
of vehicle repair.
$6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Diamond Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks. We're turning Jasper Avenue green.
Your 5-day St. Patty's Day party kicks off Friday at OTR.
With live entertainment every day.
Including the Feelin' Lucky burlesque show on Sunday.
Plus pipers, Irish dancers, and doors open at 9 a.m. on the 17th.
We got more green beer than Marco has fancy shirts. And trust me, that's a lot.
Lucky the Leprechaun will be there.
Will you?
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks. Next round's on me. Woohoo!
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
For Selly hockey fans, your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, from weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you are having a wonderful Monday. And hey, trade deadline week officially begins. The Edmonton Oilers with the trade. If you missed it, Conor Murphy, newest member of the Oilers. They send a second-round pick in 2028 to Chicago, and the Blackhawks retain 50% of his salary, so he's a $2.2 million cap at the Oilers. Also, earlier in the day, they recalled Isaac Howard and Josh Szymanski, but Howard has already been sent back down to Bakersfield. That's to make the trade salary cap work. But by calling up Howard and then putting Janmark on LTIR, his bonuses are captured. So if they do have to call Howard up later on in the year, he's a $950,000 cap hit. So that's the benefit of having him up and down. I'm going to guess he didn't actually get on the plane. I can't say that for sure, but that's what I'm going to guess. Conor Murphy comes in. I know there's lots of questions. Who's he going to play with? You know what? Could play with Wallman, could play with Nurse. Echo and Bouchard. I know the coach had him split up at practice, and he might split him up for a game or two, but I think when it's all said and done, Echo's going to play with Bouchard. Come on here. Well, we know they're good together. They'll play together. Lots of people are going to fret and hand wring and worry about, well, who's second pair, who's the third pair? Just who plays better, right? Look at their total amounts of minutes on the ice. That's what you look for, right? So with Murphy now, what this means is there is more competition on the left side. Wallman's not going to be playing the right side. Unless there's an injury, he'll be playing the left side. Nurse, Wallman, Ekholm. Then you have Emerson, Wallman, Bouchard on the right side. We know the Bouchard's playing the most minutes, and then everything else siphons down from there. So does this allow you to, maybe lower a minute or two for Nurse and Ekholm, have Wallman on the left side? Probably. Right? I don't think it impacts Ty Emberson a whole bunch. You might even be able to lower a minute or two of Bouchard because you can play Murphy on the penalty kill as a natural right shot defender. And just, rest Bouchard a little bit. He's been good on the penalty kill, no worries. I'm not saying he shouldn't be there. But if you wanted to lower some hard minutes, that's a way to do it with Conor Murphy coming in. So Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, NHL, NBA, you name it, the MLB, World Cup of Baseball, it's all got it. Live dealer lottery, instants, and more at PlayAlberta.ca. Now let's hear more from. We'll get to more from Stan Bowman, who spoke earlier today. And if you missed it, he did talk at length about the their problems. Actually, I want to play it again because it was a pretty good quote from the GM on the goals against issue. What's the problem? And how do they address it? And do they need it? No, they didn't. This was asked before they made a trade because they were asked, do they need to make a trade to address it?
Yeah, we haven't played well defensively as a team. I think it's a number of factors, all of them contributing. It's goaltending, defense, and forwards. I think the biggest challenge for our group is, we don't put ourselves in a great spot often in games, and we score a ton of goals, and I think that's great. And if you think back to the early part of our season, we weren't scoring a lot. I think so. We've swung the pendulum probably too far one way, where we're pushing to try to make things happen, and in the process of doing that, we put ourselves in really bad spots. And I think until we learn as a team to be smarter about the way we approach the games, we're going to see a lot of highs and lows to where we look great some nights, we're scoring a lot of goals, and other nights we're giving up a ton of chances and putting our defense and our goalie in bad spots. And I think that's got to change. So that's more of a mentality shift for our group to understand what a winning brand of hockey is. And I think we see it in spurts this year, but I don't think we see it nearly consistent enough. And especially as the season progresses and the league changes around, this time of year heading into the stretch run, and there has to be a bigger commitment from our players, all of our players, to play a smarter hockey and not trying to make plays every shift. I think that's something that we've been guilty of, especially lately. But even going back to the games in late January, I think maybe it's having more respect for the game and the simplicity of the game sometimes. I think we want to put on a show and we want to score goals, and I think we all love scoring goals, but there's two sides to it, and I think we haven't managed that very well as a team. So yes, there's lots of details underneath that as far as players that need to play better, No question. Both forwards, defense, and goalies. I don't think we've seen, but I think the bigger way to fix that, it's not going to be magical new players. It's going to be the approach that we take as a team, understanding that going through a whole period without getting a lot of scoring chances is okay if you don't give up a lot. And I think that's what happens in playoff hockey. And I think our team has shown the maturity to play that way when the games matter the most. I think right now we haven't been dialed in enough and committed enough to play that way. And that's what's causing us a problem most recently.
So there you go. Makes sense. And that's probably why they acquired Conor Murphy. He's more known as a defensive defenseman. Not going to wow you with offense. The Oilers have a ton of offense. They need more defense in their game. Easiest way to put it. Last 10 games, the Edmonton Oilers lead the NHL in goals with 44. They also lead the NHL in goals against with 46. And as Kevin Woodley said, the Oilers' expected save percentage by their goalie, Tristan Jarry's .859, Ingram's .869. Meaning that's the environment that you would expect an average goalie to make saves. Now, sure, they can make the odd one that's better, but if you think the Oilers' goalie should have a 900, even a 900 save percentage in that environment, you're fooling yourselves. They're not that good. Consistently, like you can have a game where you steal it, sure. Can't do it every night, so play better defensively. Bowman was also asked about the return of Paul Coffey.
Yeah, at the break, I had conversations with Chris. It was kind of a unique situation to have a break in February. You never have a couple weeks off like that. Normally, you have a day or two between games. We weren't playing well heading into the break, and I think it was obvious that we had to do something to change our group. And in talking to Chris, that idea came up. Chris brought it up to me and said, "Do you have any thoughts?" And then we talked it through. And I think, I look back at Paul's contributions last year and his perspective. I think he was involved with our team this whole year, but not in a detailed way, like with the coaching staff day to day. And then talking to Paul, I felt that he could add something to our group. And I think when you add it all up, it's he's familiar with our guys because he was here the last 2 years. But he also then had some distance the last few months from our group. So that combination I think is good. When you're not behind the bench, you sometimes have a different view on things. And so I thought I was kind of in agreement that it was something to help our group. And just talking to Paul this morning about what I just was talking about, and I think he sees that as the coach too. And I think, that we have to have a different mentality to be more successful. So that's kind of how it all came to be.
Now, it was asked, are they in the goaltending market at all?
I think our goaltending hasn't played great, but at the same time, I think the bigger problem is we put our goalies in a really tough spot. I think they can be better. I don't think I'm not trying to communicate that they've had their A game or played at an elite level, but I think if you're stuck on the numbers, I think you kind of have to watch the games, which I know you guys do as well. We put our goalies in some really tough spots, and I don't think that's a winning formula no matter who you have in net. So, yeah, I'd like to see our goalies find some more consistency to their game. I think the better way to do that is not only for them to find their game, but for us to put them in situations where they're more likely to find it. I don't think we've done a very good job of that this year, especially the last month or so. There was a stretch there, I think, from mid-December to mid-January when we were playing. You go back and watch some of those games. We weren't putting ourselves in so many bad spots. And I think in those times our goaltending looked solid. So I think we've got to put them, like, they need to find their game too. So I'm not absolving them. I think they can certainly play better. But I think the way that we play as a team is going to play a bigger role than that, than just a new person in the uniform.
GM making a lot of sense, really. A goalie's got to be better. There's no debate on that for sure, but your team defense has to improve. He was asked, though, it's 60 games in and the team struggles. They've been to 2 straight finals. Can they figure it out? Do they know it? You concerned at all that they still haven't figured it out this year?
I don't know if it's they don't know how to do it. I don't think it's a lack of knowledge. I think there's a lot of things that happen during the season, and like I said, early in the year, we weren't scoring a lot. Like, we didn't really have our offensive game. So I think, it's hard to look at things from a high perspective. Like, we're kind of in the middle of it now, coming off the last couple games, we gave up a lot of goals. But if you rewind this to October, November, when we were trying to find our way, like, our offensive players didn't score a lot in October. So I think we were trying to find it, and I think we did find it, but in the process, we kind of went too far. So I think you're right. We know how. It's not a lack of knowledge on how to play winning hockey. I think you can't get to the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row if you don't play a winning brand. We definitely can do it. And we haven't done it frequently enough. So I think that's part of sports, though. I mean, there's variability in performance. There's highs and lows to a team. And you take the best team in the league this year, they had stretches where they looked terrible. And like, that's kind of how sports go. But so I guess that's not a great answer as to why we can't, but I think it's just that commitment. I mean, a lot of ways it's not super exciting sometimes to play a whole period and not really get many scoring chances and just play simple, boring hockey. But a lot of times that's winning hockey, right? It's just committing to it and convincing yourself that's good enough in the moment. And I think we've got some incredibly talented players, and they have, like, I should say, they have the best intentions. They want to help the team win, and they're not out there trying to do bad things. They're trying to score, but sometimes the risk reward trade-off, it's in the wrong order, and you end up where we've been lately. So there's a lot of elements to our game that are trending well. Like, we are scoring a lot of goals, and I've been talking to a lot of GMs lately, and they kind of laugh, like, oh, we wish we had that problem. We can't score to save our life. So we're kind of in the other end where we're scoring a lot, but we're giving up too much. So it's sort of finding that balance, and that's what good teams do. And I'm confident we'll get there.
Well, they got 21 games to sort it out here in the month of March and April. They don't really have a hectic schedule at all down the stretch. 2 games this week. Next week's their toughest. They got 4 and 6. And then after that, it's pretty smooth sailing. Not a boatload of overly tough games that, the 4-game road trip will be difficult in Colorado and Vegas and Dallas for sure. At the end in St. Louis, that shouldn't be an overly tough game, but it's the last game of the road trip. And other than that, they should be all right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get more on Conor Murphy. Tab Banford will join us from Chicago to break down what Conor Murphy is going to bring to the Oilers next on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, presented by playalberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great. But you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Salvi Group is celebrating 50 years of building homes and communities, and we want to share the celebration with you. For a limited time during our 50/50 event, you'll enjoy 50% off select packages. That's special savings, select upgrades, and added value, all designed just for you. Build new or move in sooner at Hillshire. There's never been a better time to call Hillshire home. Celebrate with Salvi Group and enjoy 50 years, 50% off. Visit Hillshire today. Salvi Group, 50 years of craftsmanship, quality, and commitment.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell. Get your power play amped up with Ewell, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. Ewell.ca is your partner in power.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Earlier today, the Detroit Red Wings, another big win over the Nashville Predators, 4-2. So Nashville no longer with now they're 3 back of Seattle, and Seattle has a game in hand. So what are the Preds going to be buyers? They're going to be sellers. They've been pretty good for a while, but they've suddenly hit the skids, going 3-4 in their last 10 games after being atop the third most points in the West before coming back from the Olympics. So maybe reality's kicked in. Who knows? Will the Preds be big time sellers? We shall see. Do they have a scorer that the Dallas Stars would be interested? I think they might. They just might. Now let's get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. You're looking for a new vehicle, cars, trucks, SUVs, you name it. Used, they got it all. Over 15,000 vehicles to choose from at 71 different locations. Find a location near you and the ride that you want, goauto.ca. Earlier today, the Edmonton Oilers announced they've acquired Conor Murphy, right shot defenseman from the Chicago Blackhawks for a second-round pick in 2028, and the Blackhawks retain 50% of the salary. Murphy is a stay-at-home defenseman. He's a defensive defenseman, good on the penalty kill. And on a team that's minus 35 on 5 this year, he's been minus 4. Now, he doesn't play the most minutes. They've wanted to play some younger guys more. Necessarily hasn't worked out the best. But Murphy, I think people are like, well, why would Chicago trade him? I'm guessing because Murphy's like, hey, man, I've been a good shoulder in Chicago, but I want to try to make the playoffs here. He's only made the playoffs once, and there was no fans in the stands. So he's never actually played a playoff game with fans. You'll be a little jazzed up for that. So we'll talk about his strengths and weaknesses now with the beat reporter from the Chicago Blackhawks from the fourth period, as well as the Bleacher Report. Tab Bamford joins us. Tab, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Excellent. So give me your scouting report on Conor Murphy and what he will bring to the Oilers.
Well, you're not getting Cale Makar. I'm sorry. But I mean, I think you touched on some of it. I mean, look, what the Oilers need is someone who's going to play defense, right? And that is Murphy's calling card. He might not log the most minutes on the back end, but he is the first guy over the boards on the right side of the back end for the number one penalty kill in the NHL. And I think that has immense value for Edmonton as they look at cleaning up the back end. He can play 17 minutes. He can play 22 minutes. He's played with a lot of older guys. He's played with some absolute babies. I mean, since the break, he's played the left side with, at times a 20-year-old Artem Levshinov. So he's got a lot of experience coming in, but he's going to be a stay-at-home physical, not guys on their wallets, defenseman who isn't going to put up with much around the crease and is going to give you everything that he's got. And I think with the way that the pre-Murphy blue line was constructed in Edmonton, what he brings to the table adds a lot of value and checks a number of boxes for you guys.
Yeah, he is, all the reports are good teammate, physical guy. His net front presence as a defender, Tab, does he make it hard on opponents in front of the Chicago net?
Yeah, he does. And if you try and get pretty with the goaltender or take any liberties, he'll let you know that you're not supposed to do that. He's got no problem dropping the mitts. Probably, short of Nick Foligno, the most willing combatant in the Chicago room this year. Which, of course, I'll throw an asterisk on that. Not saying much when most of the rest of the roster is still finishing puberty.
Yeah.
But he is a guy that will clean up in front of the net. He'll try and put you into the second row of the stands if he can in the corners. And he's going to very, very happily put himself in front of shots. So, again, he's a guy that's going to do the defensive things that you might not notice a whole lot of the time. But when the puck doesn't go in the net, he might be the last guy off the ice shaking the goalie's hand.
Okay. So he's a pure defensive defender, right? Which is, hey, the Edmonton Oilers, they can score. Right now they can't defend. So he's when you look at it, are there certain partners? And I know it's hard because Chicago, you have so many young guys. Like I remember everybody's like, oh, Seth Jones is terrible. He gets out of Chicago on a good team. And you're like, oh, Seth Jones is pretty damn good still. So, Conor Murphy, though, maybe it's hard to judge, but did you find, is there a certain style of partner that fits better for him?
It's kind of wild that, when news of the trade started to leak out, looking back at his tenure with the Blackhawks, he has played with so many different types of defensemen. I really think, again, like the biggest value that he's going to bring to the Oilers is he has played with teenagers. He has played with guys in their mid-30s. He's played with guys who don't want to play defense at all, or maybe want to, but don't know how or can't. He's played with guys who are pretty responsible. He has really seen pretty much the full spectrum of defensemen in Chicago during his time here. Unfortunately, he came in after the dynasty days and spent some tough years on the downslope, and then sat through the first few years of this rebuild process. And he was a great soldier all the way through. And he always faced the music after games. If it was an ugly loss, he had no problem standing in front of a camera and the rest of us in the room after the game answering questions. So I don't know that there's a specific style that he's necessarily going to want to play with or play best with, because he's played with so many in Chicago. it's really wild to look at the number of guys that he spent time with.
Yeah. Now, how about move? Like I look, hey, he had 7 goals a few years ago. Like he's obviously not a big time offensive player, but it's not like he can't pass the puck, right? Like decent puck mover.
Yeah, he's a smart hockey player. Second generation NHL guy. He actually has a better shot than you would probably give him credit for looking at the back of his hockey card. But he's usually not the guy that's letting it fly. He's usually the guy covering for, a young guy who's, perilously pinching. So he does have a good shot. He's a good passer. He's smart. He communicates really well on the back end. A lot of the young guys who have come along in Chicago over the last few years, like Alex Vlasic, have talked about how good he is communicating with things, especially on the penalty kill. And so I think that's another area where he'll probably help is making sure, especially being new with as little time left as there is in the regular season, with the way the schedule's set up this year. I think communication is going to be huge if you want to integrate guys into a roster that's been through some stuff like Edmonton's has. So the fact that he's a great communicator will help a lot too.
Tab, I'm looking at, the Blackhawks, and I look around the league. There's not a ton of right shot defenders available. Did they do Murphy a solid here and kind of let him have some say in where he's going? Because it looks like the draft pick isn't until 2028, right? So that's a second rounder. Then that pick doesn't play in the NHL for another 4 years after the pick, usually for second rounders. So why do you think they settle for that? Did they do Murphy a favor here?
Well, I think there's a couple of things in play here. I do think they did Murphy a solid and found him somewhere that he could go compete for a championship. But the other thing that you have to keep in mind is over the last 3 years, the Blackhawks have drafted like 300 guys.
Yeah.
I think I pointed out on the artist formerly known as Twitter earlier, they've already got 3 second-round picks in 26 and 2 next year. So you can only have so many guys in your pipeline at a time. And some of these guys are going to work. Some of them aren't. Obviously, the drafts that you have these picks in, you're really kind of stuck with however good that draft class is going to end up being. But I think the other reality for the Blackhawks, and Kyle Davidson has talked about this a lot since he took the job and started stacking picks in future years, was at some point you're going to get to a stage in the rebuild in Chicago where they're going to want to turn the page. And if there's a trade that they need to make to go get an impact player, or if the opportunity arises, what do you need to do that? You need either prospects or draft capital more times than not. And so he has had no problem taking picks 2-3 years down the road with the understanding that at some point those picks or prospects might be the pieces that he needs to go find that last piece that he needs to finish off this rebuild. So they didn't really, they've got 5 picks in the first 2 rounds this year. Like I said, with the number of guys that they've already drafted over the last 3 years, the pipeline's going to at some point be, overloaded, and you're just not going to be able to sign all the guys. And so there's going to be diminishing return on the value of the picks that they have made. So I think pushing it to 28 makes sense, just because the further down the road you can get these assets, the more value they have down the road when you might need them for more than making a pick of another young kid to add to the pipeline.
Okay, so that makes sense. So it's a combination of, hey, you know what? We give Connor, who's been a really good, teammate warrior outside of the year when 24 teams got into the playoffs. The Blackhawks really haven't been close. So this will be something different for him. He's never actually played a playoff game with fans, which is kind of wild when you think about it, like a real full building. So that part could be good. Now you look at the remainder of this Blackhawks roster. They got Nick Foligno and Jason Dickinson and Mikheyev and Sam Lafferty, all UFAs. Matt Grzelcyk even, who turned out to be a pretty good signing for them. How many more of those guys do you think get moved before Friday?
There's been a lot of talk in Chicago about the possibility of extending Ilya Mikheyev. But the pushback I had on that conversation right away was the guy's 32. He might be the best penalty killing winger in the NHL. And going to UFA this summer, it might be the last time that he can really swing big in free agency. And I don't know that the Blackhawks could or should go beyond maybe 2 years with him. So I think a team that needs speed, and again, like Murphy, needs help on the penalty kill, Mikheyev has a ton of value. And he's a sneaky offensive player, too. He might be a third-line guy in Chicago, but he is a nightmare on the penalty kill. Same thing with Dickinson. and he can win faceoffs. He has checked the best centers in the league incredibly well since he got to Chicago. The fact that the Blackhawks got him and a second-round pick from Vancouver is kind of laughable with where those two have gone from since then.
Yeah.
They got McCabe with money retained from Vancouver too, actually.
Yeah.
So if teams out there that are looking to improve their penalty kill, I think Dickinson and McCabe have a ton of value. Foligno, I think, is the most interesting one. He's a captain. You don't know how much, career he's got left. Does he want to chase a championship? He's the captain. He has spoken a lot about understanding the significance of being the first captain after Jonathan Taves in Chicago. And so, does he want to chase a ring? Does an offer present itself where he might be able to go somewhere? Does he ride it out as the captain of the Blackhawks? And then you brought up Matt Grzelcyk at $1 million for a guy that can, run a power play if need be, and eat some minutes as a left-handed shot who's a good puck mover and skates with it pretty well. At that price point, somebody's going to need depth. The question is, do the Blackhawks want to have one guy over the age of 24 on the back end when the dust settles? Because if they trade Grzelcyk, they won't.
Yeah. They'd have none for certain. Overall, how would you evaluate this season for the Blackhawks?
I qualify it as a work in progress. And I think that you're seeing progress, but you're seeing a lot of ups and downs. And a lot of that is because so much of the team is young and the guys that they're putting in these positions are young. Ryan Green and Oliver Moore and Sam Renzel are playing their first full professional season and being asked to play pretty big minutes. Lev Shinoff is playing his second pro season, his first really full NHL season, and he's being asked to do a lot. He's only 20 years old. Connor Bedard's still only 20 years old. It feels like he's been around for a decade at this point, but he can't legally have a sip of alcohol in the U.S. yet. So many of these guys are young. You're going to have ups and downs. I think Jeff Blashill's done a nice job with focusing on process and focusing on the big picture outside of the wins and losses. But there have certainly been some frustrating moments, with guys making mistakes that are going to happen when you're young. But again, with the number of guys that the Hawks have drafted over the last few years, this is really the first wave of those picks starting to get to the NHL, and you'll probably see the second one as soon as the end of maybe the season in Sweden with Anton Frundell, or maybe some of the guys that they've got in college. And then next year, certainly you'll probably see 2 or 3 more guys get promoted full time. So it's still a building process, but I think that you're seeing those incremental steps forward. And the biggest positive for Chicago is, after, a bruised up rookie season and a second year that saw some ups and downs, and some people would have said, maybe a slight regression from Connor Bedard. He certainly took that step into superstardom and has shown on a more frequent, if not nightly basis, that he's the goods. And I think that's what you were looking for to build around. And now it's just a matter of, again, waiting for the rest of the roster to finish puberty and catch up with him.
Tab, great rundown, man. We appreciate the scouting report on Conor Murphy, and I'm sure you'll be busy week as the Blackhawks likely move out a few other guys before Friday's deadline. Thanks for your time. Very much appreciate it.
Absolutely. You guys will enjoy Conor Murphy. He's a tremendous human being.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Looking forward to it. Thanks. That's Tab Bamford joining us from Chicago, and I'm a big believer, man. You can never have too many good guys on your team because and you need good guys that are just a little relaxed. Because I've said it all the time that this core group here is a little wound tight. I hate to say it, but the next time Darnell Nurse comes out and says I have to play better, might be the first or second time. At some point, you know what? You never hear. Draisaitl has no problem saying he needs to play better. 25 for some reason does. Even after a terrible no. And I'm sorry, that's not the best, man. Stu Skinner, people could hate him all they wanted. Stu Skinner had a bad game and never shied away from it. I still remember the Tampa game. We played great tonight and stepped me. I was terrible. Right? He hasn't pulled punches. And I think there could be a lesson learned there for Nurse at times, just in my own humble opinion. Take a quick break. Come back. We got lots more. We'll get to the stats of the day and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Welcome to Uncommon, Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical Team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. The Brick is here to help with deals on your entire bed. Save up to 50% off clearance mattresses, 50% off beds when you buy any 3 matching pieces. Buy one, get one half price on Sealy memory foam pillows, and save $100 off any adjustable power base when you buy a mattress over $9.99. Plus, check out other incredible savings in every department. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick at South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side, and downtown.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Every goal, every Selly. The place to cheer on your favorite team is Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house with all games on tons of big screens. And Selly's menu, top shelf. Plus, check out the game night food and drink features. And don't miss the excitement of Oilers watch parties all season long. Experience Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations. Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
When your driveway's covered in snow, Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital have you covered. Toro's gas or battery-powered single-stage power clear snowblowers make it easy to clear right down to the concrete with incredible Toro-powered Propel technology. Face the next snow day without fear thanks to Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital. Visit lawnmowerhospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at CanTorque.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
We continue on Monday afternoon. How are you? Maybe some of you just getting out of work, getting set to make your way home. Drive safe, please. Hey, good news. Every day it gets a little bit longer. I know, Con Man, we're walking out of the station now after 6, and it's still light out. So that is a big, big win. I'll tell you that. Big win. So I like it. I like it a lot. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Jason Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, check it out. The Jason Gregor Show odds boost. Got a few specials for you every day. Some NBA, some NHL. Check it out there if you like. Now, let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction, founded in 2009. They specialize in power, gas, telecommunication, street lighting, all the underground utilities, as well as directional drilling and hydrovacing. They help build communities in the Edmonton area. That is All Star Construction. And the first stat of the day, of course, involves the Edmonton Oilers trade. Conor Murphy comes to Edmonton from Chicago for a 2028 second-round pick, and Chicago retains half of his $4.4 million salary, so it's a 2.2. That he'll be a $2.2 million player in the playoffs. He's actually less than that because there's obviously less than half the season remaining. So that's how they get him under the cap. The Oilers did then send Ike Howard right back down to the minors to make it work. So here's Conor Murphy. Here's some stats for it. He's already played 805 NHL regular season games. Started out, he was drafted 20th overall in 2011, the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins draft. He was drafted one pick after Oscar Klefbom, if you recall, and was taken by the Coyotes. He made his debut a few years later with the Coyotes. He played 1 year in the American League after playing 2 years in the OHL after being drafted, then 1 year in the American League, and not even a full year. It was only 36 games. He's only ever played 36 games in the A, and then was basically an NHLer ever since. Was with the Coyotes for the first 4 years of his career, and then went to Chicago, and he has been in Chicago since 2017-18. They only made the playoffs once. That was the year they beat the Oilers in 2020. No fans in the stands. So Conor Murphy's first playoff game this year will be the first one of his career with fans in the stands. So that'll be pretty exciting, I would think, for him. He's a defensive defenseman. He has 47 career goals, 173 career points, 535 penalty minutes. He's not a huge banger. Doesn't take a lot of minor penalties, but he's not afraid to drop the mitts. He'll stand up for teammates. He's effective. He's very good on the penalty kill. Did you know the Chicago Blackhawks? I think a lot of people might be surprised a little bit that the Chicago Blackhawks, even though they're one of the worst teams in the NHL, they have the best penalty kill in the National Hockey League at over 85%. And Mr. Conor Murphy is a major part of that, as he is on the he's the main penalty kill guy on the well, there's two guys obviously on the back end. Him and Vlasic. Conor Murphy's actually played the most minutes by 6 seconds. He's played 177 minutes. Vlasic's played 177 and 11 seconds. It's 17 seconds for Conor Murphy. So those two guys eat a ton. Then you go down to Wyatt Kaiser at 114 minutes and Louis Crevier at 104. So those guys, pretty much every penalty kill, they're out first. Then the second unit comes out, and then they finish off the penalty kill. They kind of run with 4 D-men almost exclusively on their penalty kill. You got Mikheyev and Teuvo Teravainen. So they've had a pretty good unit in Chicago. So Murphy will come in. Now, I don't know what their penalty kill system is. I'd have to dig into it a little bit. But he knows how to penalty kill. There's not a lot of changes, really, right? You're especially for your defenseman, right? Your D-man, you're righty, you're on the right side. You're lefty, you're on the left side. It's pretty standard. So obviously has a good stick, knows how to anticipate, not afraid to block shots. He's a very good shot blocker. He's good in front of the net, which is an area I believe the Edmonton Oilers, I've talked about it on. If there is a major criticism for me from the Oilers defense for having a big defense core in the regular season, because I've seen it in the playoffs, they'll make it a tougher place to live for the opposition. But in the regular season, they're kind of like, hit or miss at times in how they make a battle in front of the net. So I think Murphy is going to add something there. I know a lot of people are wondering, who's he going to play with? He's played with lots of different guys. I know that practice today, they switched up their D pairs, which I don't always mean it's good. They had Wallman with Bouchard. They had Nurse with Emberson, and they had Ekholm with Stastny. Now, Stastny's obviously going to come out of the lineup. He'll be the number 7 because the lefties are going to be Ekholm, Wallman, and Nurse. In what order? I don't know. I do think what Murphy is going to bring to Edmonton is it likely will change the minutes even of the lefties. Because right now you had Wallman when he was in, he was playing the right side. So Nurse was the main lefty. Right? But Embers, like Bouchard right now. So just for a comparison, Chicago takes a lot of penalties. Their top penalty kill D-man has 177 minutes each. In Edmonton, Bouchard has 115. Ekholm has 110. Now, they also give up goals, so they're not killing the full 2 minutes. So keep that in mind. That also plays a factor in it. But with Evan Bouchard, I don't think he's going to come off the penalty kill. Totally. They might reduce it a little bit with Murphy. Then you got Ty Emberson. It might be a wise decision. As good as Bouchard is, why do you want him in the tougher minutes? Right? Maybe him and Emberson split the second time. You could do that. You could go Murphy, Bouchard one time, Murphy, Emberson the next time as your right side rotation. Things to look at. But when I look at the 5-on-5, like if you look at the Oilers blue line and their defense core, 5-on-5, even strength minutes, Nurse leads the team at 1917, Bouchard's at 1907, Ekholm's at 1830, Wallman's at 1804. But now you've got 2 righties. Now Wallman still might take the odd shift at the right side, but not as much. You're going to those minutes of Nurse, Ekholm, and Wallman are all going to probably go down a bit because they're going to split up the left side 3 ways rather than 2 ways. Right now, not down a ton, but down a little bit. I'll be watching. So if Nurse has been averaging 19-17 right now and about 1:17 on the PK, I bet you in the final 21 games, I could see Nurse down around a minute. I know people are saying, third pair. He's not going to suddenly drop down to 16 or 15 minutes a night. I just think that's unrealistic. Could Nurse play better? Yes, he better play better. Or maybe he will be, but I'll be stunned if all of a sudden Murphy comes in and that means that the top 4 is locked in. Like I think ultimately Bouchard and Ekholm will play together. They might play a game or 2 apart here or there, but I think ultimately they'll be together. So then it's going to be, is Murphy playing with Nurse or is Murphy playing with Wallman? I could make it now. Emberson and Murphy are kind of similar, right? They're more defensive-minded guys. But if you think Murphy's your best defensive defenseman, then you might play him with Nurse like they did with Cody Ceci. And then Wallman plays with Emberson. Right? And they look to say, Wallman, we're going to play him a little bit, maybe with Leon Draisaitl's line, to have some more offense there. Could see it. So, because Wallman's a good 5-on-5 guy. Nurse is actually pretty good offensively, 5-on-5, but he needs to play better defensively. So the minutes to me and the stats, I think, are going to be are going to be a little bit up in the air. I think it'll sort itself out as we near down the stretch. Paul Coffey has been known to say, hey, guys, I'm going to play who's playing the best, as he should. Now, the other stats that I want to get to, because these are some wild stats. We're talking defenseman. Well, let's talk about a young defender by the name of Matthew Schaefer. So Matthew Schaefer yesterday for the New York Islanders scored, he had 3 points, scored 2 goals. He became the youngest defenseman in NHL history to score 20 goals in a season. 18 years, 177 days. The only guys better than him or who were older, younger, Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Brian Bellows, Jordan Stahl, Ted Kennedy, all forwards. So he scored 20 goals. Pretty damn good. He's the first rookie NHL defenseman in league history to be the first D-man that season to 20 goals. Oh, not bad. He's the 4th rookie D-man to score 20 goals in a season. He ties Dion Phaneuf for 3rd with 20. Barry Beck had 22. And Brian Leach, pretty good player, had 23. And think about it. Matthew Schaefer was 10 days. If he was born 10 days later, he'd have been a draft pick in 2026. Like, he's one of the youngest guys in his draft class, and he is absolutely killing it. So those stats, man, like, he's got a very good chance here. So Brian Leach, he's the only defender who required fewer games. Leach had 57 to get to his 20-goal season, and then he ended up with 23. And now Schaefer, he required 61 games, so pretty damn close. And he has 21 games to get 4 goals to set the new record for rookie defenseman. I hope he does it, man. I want records to be broken. And this is a pretty hard thing to do. Think about the history of the game. Only 3 rookie defensemen prior to Schaefer ever scored 20 goals in a season. Like, he has a really good chance to get to 60 points. And, man, you wonder, like, when you watch him play, I'm telling you, he has made the Islanders a team you want to watch. Because for a long time, you'd be like, well, maybe I'll watch him to see how many saves Sorokin can make. Now you're watching to see what Matthew Schaefer can do. So check it out. That's our stats of the day, brought to you by All-Star Construction. When we come back, Mark Spector will join us here on Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As we get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Spring is coming, and so are the Corvettes. Come see the bets inside Northgate showroom and get 0% financing. NorthgateGM.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have acquired right-handed defenseman Conor Murphy from the Chicago Blackhawks for the 50% of his $4.4 million retained. It's a 2028 second-round pick going the other way. Murphy was originally selected 20th overall back in 2011 by the Coyotes and spent the last 9 years in Chicago. Also, Andrew Mangiapane and Alex Regula both fearing waivers. On the ice today, Red Wings knocked off the Preds 4-2 earlier on. Later, you got the Rangers taking on the Jackets, Flyers in Toronto. Canucks host the Stars, Hurricanes up against the Kraken, and the Kings meeting the Avalanche. In the association, just 4 games. Wizards, Rockets, Celtics, and Milwaukee. Jazz take on the Nuggets, and the Clippers meet the Warriors. The Elks signing American defensive backs Ladarius Tennyson, Ike Brown, and Jeremiah Walker, along with wide receiver Ife Adei. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, Bakersfield Condors forward James Hamlin, and hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you.
At
Crystal
4
Glass,
o'clock, Jason
we
Gregor,
provide
Connor Halley,
customers with the
Sports
perfect glass for any job, from home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs. We're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5
Wings, another big
plus
win
tax
over
every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. And yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Sherwood Honda is home of the GOAT. That's their greatest offer all time. And they have plenty of pre-owned GOATs that they got on a trade. Every used vehicle they sell goes through a 182-point inspection and comes with a vehicle history report. because peace of mind is an essential part of getting your goat. And Sherwood Honda sure would want you to buy with complete confidence.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athleticare. Injuries don't wait, and neither should you. 01 Athleticare offers one-stop access to doctors, x-rays, and casting. Is expert musculoskeletal care covered by Alberta Health right now in West Edmonton Mall. Move from injury to recovery. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, it's a long way right now from where the Oilers are playing defensively to get to the top. We've seen it before. Can we see it again? We shall see. I think they're capable of it, but it's just a commitment, man, and it's hard. It's playing hard, strong defense isn't sexy. At times, maybe it isn't fun, but it's rewarding if you do it well. So that's the key. It's a lot of will. It's more will than skill for sure. Welcome back. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. PlayAlberta.ca. Oilers will host the Ottawa Senators tomorrow, and I have to think that Conor Murphy will make his Oiler debut tomorrow night, barring any major travel snafu, I would think. So we'll see. Let's get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist, and they are hiring. If you want a great career, not just a job, but a career with opportunities to grow and learn and get more responsibility, apply today, gsconstruction.ca. Look up careers. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. And Spec, we talked about this name last week on the show, and I had Conor Murphy as one of the 4 guys I thought the Oilers would target, and turns out he was the one. The return, I don't think, is terrible. You're only giving up a second rounder in 2028, and they retain half the salary, so it fits in, and away they go. And after listening to Stan Bowman talk today, it's pretty clear what he feels his team needs to improve in defensive zone hockey.
Yeah, I think that's pretty evident to everybody, and he's not even, he didn't even sort of mince words like it's the defenseman's fault or it's the goalie's fault. He says it's everybody's issue here, and it's clear. Like, you can, in terms of defensive, who needs to carry the ball on turning the team around defensively, I think you just split it up by ice time. The guys that play the most have to improve the most, right? The guys that are on the ice all the time are the ones that are responsible for 1 million pucks going in. So, it starts at Connor McDavid and it goes all the way down to Spencer Stastny. But I can tell you which guy plays a lot more.
Yeah. When you look at Conor Murphy, it's obvious he's the second, he's their number 2 right D.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean he's going to play 20 minutes a night? We'll see. I honestly don't think it will. Just because I think certain situations, power play and everything else, offensive zone starts, yada, yada, yada. But I think he probably ends up playing about 18, 19 minutes.
Well, it's a good question. Like, especially if you play him with, there's some consideration you might play with Wallman maybe. So if you're going to have Murphy, let's just say for fun, you're going to play Murphy and Wallman together. And then you're going to play, Nurse and Emberson together. Then I'm not sure if you don't have sort of a more even number between the second and third pair, right? I'm not sure one of those pairs is playing 22 minutes and one's playing 15. I think it might be 2 pairs playing like 18. So I guess I need to know who his partner is going to be, Jay, and then we'll probably get a little bit better idea of his ice time. Have we looked at his ice time in Chicago?
Yes, I did. And it was just under 17 minutes. They played a lot of their young guys. I asked Tab Banford about it. And, he played a ton of minutes. Like, he's played 177 minutes on the penalty kill, the most in Chicago. Evan Bouchard's played the most PK minutes in Edmonton, and he's played 115. So like they really rotated around their four guys on the blue line, and kind of specifically with that. Now, the other thing is, if you look at Chicago, they also took a lot, like they've been shorthanded 182 times. The Edmonton Oilers have been shorthanded 169. So 13 plus. The Oilers don't kill off as many penalties, Spec, so they didn't have the full 2 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't last 2 minutes, exactly. But hey, listen, if you're telling me that they might take a little bit of PK time away from Evan Bouchard, I got no problem with that. And that's not me saying I don't like the way he kills penalties. I'm saying he's my number one defenseman. If I can find someone to take a little bit of load from him and a real good penalty killer like Conor Murphy, I don't mind that. I don't mind Bouchard getting a little bit of rest.
Yes. The Oilers, I don't expect they're done. I think they, max they're going to make is 2 trades. I could see another trade for certain here, potentially for a forward. I'm not sure they need another defenseman. I know you asked him about the goaltending. I didn't, he's not going to come out and tell us, hey, I'm in the market for a goalie. Could I see it?
I should ask.
Yeah, no. But all I'm saying is, like, I don't think he would say, well, I expect, you know what? Yes, I am. Only because now he's out in his goalies in case he doesn't get the trade. That's why I'm saying it. I get why you asked the question. It's a good question. But I don't see Binnington in Edmonton. The way Edmonton plays, Kevin Woodley said, the way Edmonton's playing defensively, Binnington would not be saving them.
I don't think, listen, I think that this is what we've learned here, is that the goaltending in Edmonton it's sort of equal parts. It's about the goalie 50%, and it's about the team in front of them 50%. And, if Woodley says it, I'm just going to agree with him because he's way smarter on all that goalie stuff than me. But the environment in Edmonton, the way it's been for the last couple months, and certainly the last 3-4 weeks, it doesn't matter who's in goal. Like, you can't win hockey games. You might pull the odd one off, but the environment's been so poor defensively that there's, Stan said it today. I've been writing it for last 4 games. Everyone knows it. The defensive statistics will tell you, what are they, the 27th team in the league in goals per game or something? It's no great mystery what has to happen. The goalies don't have a prayer here until the team plays better in front of them.
Yeah, wow. Last 10 games, Spec, the expected save percentage of Jari is 859, and Ingram's 869. That's a terrible environment to put your goalies in. Yeah. It's simply not good enough. So the goalies got to play better too. Make no mistake about it.
But how many games have we seen? Like, I thought the Ingram game in San Jose was a pretty good example. He made 2 or 3 5-bell saves to keep pucks out, like killer great saves. And I know he screwed one up, and that's totally on him, but he ends up letting in 5. Like, if he doesn't make a couple of just unreal saves, it's 6 or 7. And we've seen that game a million times. Jari, I've watched him play and go, man, he made some good saves. How do you end up letting in 5? Well, it's because that's how much fire he's facing against. So we're all in agreement here that you can't win this way. Every guy in the Oilers room will tell you that. Ekholm told us today, he said, systems are great. They give you a guideline, but it's about the players playing right and blocking shots and doing all the things you got to do. I'm kind of tired. They're tired of talking about it, Jay. I'm kind of tired of asking about it and hearing about it. There's 20 games left. Let's start seeing it.
Oh, completely agree with you. I think that's it's an area where, like, they've done it in the past, but it doesn't guarantee that you do it again. But I think they've shown the willingness, because it's not so much ability. It's a lot more willingness to just want to play smart defensive hockey. And a lot of times it starts with their best players. Guy, as you said off the top, the guys who are on the ice the most, they can impact the game the most, good or bad. And so they'll need to be better. And, I expect in some cases they will. Some some guys seem to take a little bit more accountability, at least publicly, than others. Connor McDavid and Draisaitl have no problem saying they need to play better. Darnell Nurse doesn't seem to, you got to ask him 3 times. Well, yeah, okay, we can play better. But it's like, I've covered the team as long as you. Like, I'm trying to think the times where Nurse has said, I need to be better. I've heard Draisaitl say it. I've heard McDavid. Can't recall many times when I've heard that from him. And that's my only concern. At some point, you can admit, I need to play better. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. No, I agree. The media persona of Darnell Nurse has always been a goofy, like not goofy. It's just been a strange one, an odd one. You know, as a guy like you, I've covered him since the day he walked in the door, and I'll be honest with you, I barely know him. You know, there's not a lot of sitting around and chatting. The interviews are always, he's very guarded. He's never opened up. It's this thing. And it's not changing now. That's who he is. No. And I respect his right to be whoever he wants. But, you know, I feel like a guy like Ryan Nugent Hopkins, like I feel like I could have a beer with him and we'd have something to talk about. I'm not sure that I could with Darnell because I don't know where I'd start. I don't know almost anything about the guy.
Yeah, I've always felt like there's a little bit too defensive, and and I'm not
the enemy. We've always been a bit the enemy, haven't we?
Necessarily overly valid in my opinion, but hey, that's fine. We're allowed to disagree on it. Looking at the Oilers, though, we get they made a few roster shuffles today. They bring up 2 rookies, so now their bonus are captured in the LTIR silo. So if they do call up Howard again, because they called him up and then they sent him back down after the trade was made. And so now he's just a 950 cap if they ever call him up again. But Josh Szymanski is up, spec. And, so they got 12 forwards. Janmark goes on LTIR. Like for any trade to happen now really is you got to find a way to ship out Mangiapane. Like he's in the minors and that's 2.45 that counts on the cap instead of 3.6. But I just don't see any other way. If they're going to make any sort of decent move, he's got to be the guy going out. Like there's, unless you're going to trade a player that we don't see coming, like I'm not trading Matt. I've heard people, Matt Savoy, they don't wait. They're trading Matt Savoy, right? Like, no. I don't think you're trading Roslovic, right? So, I don't think you're trading Kapanen. So, which other forwards are you trading?
Yeah. For one, it doesn't sound like we're going to see Janmark for a long time, if at all this season. He's got pending surgery. So, that tells me that if it's been chronic for a long, long time here, we're not going to, probably won't see him again. You're right. I can't think. I mean, to me, the Mangiapane thing really hasn't changed that much. It's quite, he's clearly basically negative value, mostly because he's got that year like next year on his contract. So it's just a matter of what are you attaching to him to get a deal done. If you find a player you want, let's say you got a shot at Boone Jenner. Well, what is it going to take to get Columbus to take a player that you don't want anymore, that's got another year at 3.6, and get Boone Jenner back somehow? Oh, and could you please retain for the rest of the season on Boone Jenner, if that's okay? Like, what are you going to have to attach to Mangiapane to make that happen? Is it a first-round pick? Is it Ike Howard? I mean, what is it? I don't know what it is, but it's going to be something.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Like, it all depends on what the opposition is looking for. But yeah, you're going to have to be some, like the Oilers have a few young players, and like I've said all the time, they're not all going to play, right? You're not going to have Savoy and Howard and Hudson and Järventie all on the roster. It's just it's unrealistic. Edmonton's in a cup window. There's not enough openings for all those guys. Just a fact. So if you move a guy out to bring in somebody that you think can help you right now, that's why you do the deal. It's just that simple.
Oh, sure. It's just a question of which guy you feel, the advantage is always on this case is on the Oilers side, because they know a little bit more about the player that they're trading. And the other guys will be scouting Bako and they think they know, but when you have a player every day, you know more about them than the team you're trading them to. And, I don't think Quinn Hudson's got a ton, or Quinn Hudson, I don't think has a ton of value out there. I'm not sure he's perceived to be an NHL player, frankly. Ike Howard would have more value, I would say to you.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Right? No question about that. So, and coupled with a draft pick, like, what are you moving for a draft pick? They still have some picks. And you know what? Like, there you go. If you could tell me, well, let's say Boone Jenner, just because I said his name. If you could tell me I could get Boone Jenner to be the third line center on this team, I'd be pretty excited about that. Like, if you could give me a quality veteran third line center that can still play and is, of the quality of that guy, oh boy, I'd feel a lot better about this team going to the playoffs, man.
True, but in order for that to happen, Spec, you better hope that the Blue Jackets lose 2 of 3. They played 3 games before the trade deadline, and Adam Fantilli scored 5 minutes into the game. They're up 1-0. No Zach Werenski tonight. He's ill. The Blue Jackets win tonight without him, man. Now they're playing the Rangers, so in New York, so that's not like it would be that hard of a feat. But the point is, the Blue Jackets, then they got Nashville and then Florida. So, they're playing 3 teams who aren't in the playoffs. Here, if they win all 3 of those games or even 2 or 3, I don't think they're trading their guys. I think they're going to keep their guys and go for it because that's a team that's close and feels like, hey, we can get in. And, Pittsburgh without Crosby in a really tough March, maybe we can catch them.
Well, what are they? They are 66 points, and the next team in their division, is Washington at 69. So they're basically 5 points out of the playoffs with 2 teams to pass.
Yeah, which is, and they have a game in hand, right? Because Boston has 71 points. So they're 5 back of the Bruins. They win tonight, they're 3 back of the Bruins. And they only have one. They'd have to pass 2 teams.
That's fair. And I don't expect teams to just move aside and give all their good players to Edmonton. They're trying to make the playoffs too. A playoff round in Columbus is worth a lot because they don't make it very often. So I totally understand that. And this is going to be an important week. There's lots of sellers. How's Ottawa going to do out here? Like they're 5 points out of the playoffs with 3 teams to pass as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, how are they going to feel come Friday? Who do they have? They got Edmonton Tuesday. They probably have Calgary like Wednesday. What's going to happen if they lose a couple games, right?
Yeah. Well, I look at Ottawa, and there's no team that's being screwed over by their goaltenders more than the Ottawa Senators. Like, you look at all their underlying analytics, and it's just like, oh my God, like, how can our goaltenders be let us down? And actually, they play the Oilers Tuesday, and then they're in Calgary Thursday. That's it. So they got 2 games before the deadline, and that's it. So. Not a lot of games. Like they played Montreal once and they play Washington once. And I guess they do play, I guess Pittsburgh in a way they could catch maybe for a wild card if Pittsburgh falls out. But they don't have, they'd probably rather be playing Boston and those other teams, right? Those
of course they would,
real 4-pointers, but they don't have any right away. So we'll see. Spec, Murphy plays tomorrow. What's your guess? Who's he playing his first game with?
I have until I see a coach that's going to take his assistant captain Darnell Nurse and put him on the 3rd pairing, I'm not going to believe that it happens. I come from the show me state, so I'm going to put him with Nurse on the 2nd pair. I'm going to put Wallman and Emerson on the 3rd pair. That's what I think I'll see. And until I, call me wrong, but that's what I think we'll see. How about you?
Well, I was going off, I watched the practice today and I saw Echo and Bouchard apart and I'm like, I've seen that before. I'm not sure I can believe it. But, so I'm going to say he's with Wallman to start.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, I mean,
but I think ultimately, Spec, I think when it's all said and done, he probably plays with Nurse. That's my guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, if Nurse could just find his game here, right? I don't need the thing about bringing in a Conor Murphy is he doesn't get you any points, and who cares? I don't need points from Conor, right? I barely need points from Darnell Nurse for Pete's sakes. Like, who cares about points with Darnell Nurse? If he could find some kind of a more dependable game, that's all I'm asking for here. You got 2 6'4", 210, 215 pounders on your 2nd pair, a lefty and a righty playing together. Like, that should be a shutdown pair, man, that just guards the house and no one gets inside, shouldn't it? I love the fact they got those 2 big guys playing together on the 2nd pair. To me, that's what Stanley Cup contenders have, but they got to play that way. And right now, Nurse isn't fitting that bill.
Yeah. Spec, have yourself a great one. We will chat with you tomorrow.
All right, Jay.
There you go. That's Mark Spector. The Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. We will take a quick break and we'll return. James Hamlin joins us next. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Whether it's a house, a gas station, an apartment complex, or any new building going up above ground, the work always starts below ground. And that's where you'll find GS Construction.
GS Construction ensures the first step, relocating utilities, installing new ones, and building the underground systems, is taken to make progress possible. But the work can't start without you. GS Construction is currently on the lookout for experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators. To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. The Brick is here to help with deals on your entire bedroom. Save up to 50% off clearance mattresses, 50% off beds when you buy any 3 matching pieces. Buy one, get one half price on ceiling memory foam pillows, and save $100 off any adjustable power base when you buy a mattress over $9.99. Plus, check out other incredible savings in every department. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick in South Common, West Ed Mall, North Side, and downtown.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.528, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halling, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province of Alberta, PlayAlberta.ca. So even if you lose, you're still winning. Goes right back in, building roads and so much other stuff at PlayAlberta.ca. It's time now for our AHL report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca. And our next guest is 1 goal away from setting a career high for most goals in a season. He's had another spectacular season for the Bakersfield Condors. And we are joined by James Hamlin. James, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Gregor. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I appreciate it. Let's start with the personal note for you. 21 goals, ties a career high, and obviously, you got a lot of runway here to break it. What do you attribute the increase in goals to this year?
I'm not too sure. I think number one, I've just been able to play with a lot of really skilled guys this year. This team down Bakersfield is a really exciting team, really offensive and skilled team. And it seems like every night we're never out of games. And so I think that's probably a big contributor is just the guys around me really helping me out and finding me in good areas.
This is year 6, I think, for you. And, you're definitely not an old guy by any stretch of imagination. You're only 26 years of age, but you kind of feel like the wily vet with so many young guys coming in on that team, and Yarventi and Hudson and Howard and Marhala and Szymanski. And, all of a sudden you're the wily vet.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know how this happened so fast, but it definitely feels like that. And it's been so cool just to see all these younger guys grow. And I think the leadership group in Bakersfield has been great too, to try and help everyone as they come along throughout the season.
So who have you played mainly with?
I've been playing a lot with Jones, especially recently, and our wingers have changed a little bit. Most recently, we were with Hudson as well, and like I said before, those are two really skilled players. So it's been a lot of fun to play with them.
I want to get your thoughts, because players, they see other players, and you're really good at evaluating kind of where they're going. Robbie Yarventi, of course, coming off, he had 2 years where just dealt with injuries, and even at the start of this year, they didn't start him out playing in back-to-back games, but now he's really coming along. I thought he had maybe one of the goals of the year, and they got called off for goalie interference. I thought it was a joke. I thought that shouldn't have been that should have been a goal. But what have you seen from him, and maybe what impresses you most about his game?
Yeah, to talk about skill, he's probably one of the most skilled guys in our team. His ability to go through the other team without any help. He's had a lot of really cool goals that way. The one you said that got called off, that should have been a goal. I agree. So just his ability to make plays in tight without any space and find guys. Last game he had a really nice play to set up Szymanski on a goal, and he's one of those guys that he also just shows up to the rink every day with a smile on his face, and he's a pleasure to be around.
Josh Szymanski told me that when he came to North America, he didn't realize how much of an emphasis there was on faceoffs, and he talked about how yourself and a few other guys really helped him just work on draws. He's a big guy, and we've seen him become pretty good on it. How did you help a guy like that just become maybe more aware in the faceoff dot?
Yeah, you talk about him being a big guy. I think he's done a great job just kind of being curious and asking a lot of questions. I think we talk a ton about draws in practice and even in games. We're always kind of talking to each other about what we're seeing, what's been working, and that as well with Marjala. That's kind of the three of us have really worked hard on it, and we just compete in practice too, and try different things against each other, and it's been a lot of fun for me just to have that opportunity to work with those guys and battle every day with them.
James Hamlin joins us currently second on the Condors in goals, and fourth on the team in points. And you're not a guy who gets a ton of power play time. Obviously, you get a little bit. You got more shorthanded goals than power play goals. I think you got 4-2. What's been the key to your penalty kill success this year?
Yeah, I think as a team we've really put an emphasis on being aggressive and being aggressive as a 5-man or a 4-man unit. I think we struggled at the start of the year, but we've come a long way. I think we've battled our way all the way up to tied for 11th or something like that in terms of penalty kill in the league. And I think that just stems from being a group, being together all the time. And we got a lot of fast guys on that PK, and that's led to some good chances offensively. So it's always fun to go out there and compete with those guys.
James, you obviously had a taste of the NHL. That's where you want to be. You're still a young guy at 26. And, you look and have you ever thought hey, sometimes, and I don't know how a player approaches it when you look and say, hey man, I think I'm close. And I've talked to other scouts and people feel, you know what, given the opportunity, I think James could be an NHL player. And a lot of it's right place at right time, right opportunity. How do you approach every day when you probably feel like, you know what, I just need a shot and I can be an NHLer?
Yeah. I think one, just being grateful for where you are and the opportunities that you do have in front of you. I think there's an amazing opportunity for me to grow and become a better player, better leader, better person right now here in Bakersfield. And I think just having that mentality of, believing that opportunity will come and just doing everything in my power and my control to be as ready as I can be for when or if, my name gets called in that sense.
with so many young guys on your team, it's kind of different. There hasn't been this many high-end young players all come in at once on one team. And you're not an old guy, as I mentioned earlier, only 26, but just like this has been maybe a more competitive team that you've been on, but maybe a little bit more exciting just because of the offensive capabilities your team has.
Yeah, it's the most exciting team for sure. Like I said before, we are never out of games, which is really cool. I think the cool part about our team is just the mixture. We have all these younger guys and they're super skilled and it's so much fun to watch them. But I think we also have a great group of older guys that are good leaders and have been helping the younger guys as much as they can. And it feels like a good mixture in that sense.
What have you, when you look at your team kind of down the stretch, what do you feel you guys need to improve on to keep climbing in the standings?
Yeah, I think it's the details in our defensive game. We can outscore every team, but defensively we need to be a little bit better, especially kind of coming into our D zone, helping each other on the breakouts. It's been something that, especially the last couple of games, it's been a big emphasis for us. So if we can continue to grow in that area and clean up those little details defensively, I think, like I said before, I'll say it again, we're never out of games. So that makes it exciting.
Yeah, because this is really kind of maybe the first tough stretch of the season. You guys are 3-5-1-1 in your last 10 games, and you hadn't really had any sort of extended period like that. This is where you can learn a little bit about your team, and at the same time, though, it is the NHL trade deadline week, and guys get moved, and some parts of deals and stuff. How do you feel that is? Do you sense a little bit of nervousness / excitement? Just even though it's not in the NHL, there's always guys in the AHL that get moved.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of that excitement or that just curiosity as to what's going to happen. But I think our team's done a decent job with that. To be honest with you, it's just little details that we need to clean up. And luckily for us, we got some amazing goaltenders. So if we can play really well in front of them, I'm sure that defensive game will come hand in hand.
And James, what about away from hockey? What are you doing? What do you do to keep yourself busy?
We're very fortunate that we're in California here in Bakersfield. So to be honest with you, for the most part, I'm just trying to enjoy the sun. My fiance and I got a puppy this last summer, so just spending a lot of time with our dog, and it's been a lot of fun with her. So,
what kind of dog you get?
We got a golden retriever.
Oh, so a lot of walking for you.
A lot of walking, yeah. She has a ton of energy, and it's so cool. She's just always so excited to see it, and she's great. She's always a great reminder that there's more to hockey. She doesn't care whether I had a bad game or not. So it's always great to see her.
Yeah. She's not. Now, is she pretty good at if you're shooting in the backyard, you get some pucks. Will she go pick them up for you yet, or what?
She doesn't like the fetch game. She's more of a chase me. So I'd be chasing her around the backyard if that was the case.
Well, that's good. Nothing wrong with that. Lastly, I know you've had him as a teammate before, but Calvin Pickard's back, and he has a reputation of being one of the better teammates around. Funny guy, jokester guy. How's it been having him back in the fold?
Yeah, well, it's exactly that. It's awesome to have him. We want him to be in the NHL and all that kind of stuff, but he's been just such a pro about it, and right back to his old ways, just probably the biggest jokester on the team besides probably Seth Griffith. So it's been awesome to have him back, and I'm excited for what he can do for us.
What's the best joke Griffith's pulled on a teammate this year?
Oh, probably not allowed to say it on the air, to be quite honest with you. He's just, especially myself, I can't get away with anything. He's really good, especially if you get like a haircut or something.
Okay, so he's more of a jokester, not a prankster per se.
Yeah, definitely more of a jokester. Okay. Yeah, you have to be sharp when you're around him.
Any pranksters on the team?
You know what? We haven't had too many pranks. If anyone is, it's probably Jarventi. I said earlier, he's always got that smile. He's a funny guy as well. And if anyone's pulling pranks, it's probably him. But he likes to do like the cut the skate laces and stuff. So he's annoying prank.
Fair enough. Those are great. Oh, it's so annoying. It's true. Well, James, continued success, man. Best of luck when you set the new standard for most goals, and hopefully you guys get back on track and have a long playoff run.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on, Greg. I appreciate it.
You betcha. That's James Hamlin. Really good dude, man. And you know what? Like, hey, if James Hamlin was in another organization, I think he could easily be in the NHL. He's very responsible defensively. He's got good hands. He's improved at every level. You know, you go look at his time in the WHL, just got better every year, more productive, went from a 23-goal scorer, ended up a 36-goal scorer, started out as a 47-point guy. Well, actually 3-point guy in his first year and ended up as a 92-point guy. So he's always been improving. And you know what? You look at his goals, like he's going to have a good chance here maybe to score, 25 plus, I would think. Maybe flirt with 30. We'll see. We'll return, wrap things up on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French. Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Salvi Group is celebrating 50 years of building homes and communities, and we want to share the celebration with you. For a limited time during our 50/50 event, you'll enjoy 50% off select packages. That's special savings, select upgrades, and added value, all designed just for you. Build new or move in sooner at Hillshire. There's never been a better time to call Hillshire home. Celebrate with Salvi Group and enjoy 50 years, 50% off. Visit Hillshire today. Salvi Group, 50 years of craftsmanship, quality, and commitment.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers push the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Monday afternoon. If you missed it, Conor Murphy is a member of the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers send out a second-round pick in 2028, and the Blackhawks retain 50% of his salary. The Oilers also recalled Ike Howard and Josh Szymanski. Then they put Janmark on LTIR. Then they traded for Murphy, and then they sent Howard back down. So lots of this was after they put Mangiapane and Regula on waivers yesterday. Neither one of them was claimed, so they're both going to... Now, they have to play at least one game in the minors, so both of them, guess what? There's a morning game tomorrow for the Condors. And so Howard, Regula, and Mangiapane will all be in that game. for the Bakersfield Condors. Conor Murphy, barring something surprising, should make his Oilers debut tomorrow night against the Ottawa Senators. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Now, let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town, 45 years for the Tate man. Cam, of course, born with cerebral palsy, being in a wheelchair, never let him slow him down. He's always wanted to be in radio, and now through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
I really don't want to write this. Really, I don't. But as the great sports columnist Cam Cole, no, we're not brothers, used to say, a columnist is paid for their opinion. And here's mine. The Edmonton Oilers are in trouble. Big trouble. Every game, I've been hoping, praying even, that my gut feeling is wrong. That this team will find its stride, tighten up defensively, and get the goaltending they need. But it's not happening. And now, with 21 games left, I can't shake the sinking feeling that this season is slipping away. It's like wearing a sweater that doesn't fit anymore. You love it. You want it to work, but something's just off. And no matter how much you tug at the sleeves or adjust the collar, it still feels wrong. That's the Oilers right now. I want to believe. I really do. I want another playoff run, another spring where the city comes alive, where the fans pack the moss pit and the buzz is electric. But as I listened to GM Stan Bowman today, talking about defensive lapses and goaltending struggles, I couldn't help but think, this isn't a team gearing up for a playoff push. This is a team scrambling to stay afloat. And it's March. March! These are the conversations you have in November, not when the clock is ticking and every game feels like a must-win. Lowtide asked the question today, do you think the Oilers will make the playoffs? I liked it so much, I made it part of the 2-minute warning poll today. 77% said yes. 23% said no. I'm in the 23%. I don't think they're going to make it. I don't see the spark, the urgency, the fight. And unless something drastic changes, fast, this season is going to end in heartbreak. And I hate saying that. I hate it because I know how much this team means to this city. I know how much hope fans pour into every game, every shift, every save. But hope doesn't win games. I'll admit if I'm wrong. I'll eat crow, sauerkraut, of course, on the side. But right now, my gut says this team is done. 2-minute warning. Gregor, Haley, Kruger, probably wearing a scratchy sweater, and me, Tate. Sports 1440.
Interesting. Missed the playoffs. Holy cow. So in order for the Oilers to miss the playoffs, one of the Sharks or Kings has to catch them and pass them. And then Seattle has to stay ahead of them too. So I guess in a way, Seattle has to catch Edmonton as well. So that's bold. I wouldn't say I agree with that. Are the Oilers floundering right now? Yep. But so is the rest of the Pacific Division. This is the best year for the Oilers to have a bad regular season. It is. Look at the numbers, man. They don't lie. There is not a lot of teams grabbing it. And you look at the Vegas Golden Knights. So the Vegas Golden Knights have played 26 games against playoff teams. They're 6 wins in 26 games, 10 losses, 10 overtime losses. They have 14 of their final 22 games against playoff teams. So we'll see. Edmonton's schedule isn't super easy. They have a run here next week that's pretty challenging, where they could easily go 1-3. I don't debate that for a second. So they have to kind of wake up here quickly and play better. There's no debating it, but I still look at the schedule. I look at the teams. I look at the quality of the Oilers. I look at McDavid, and I look at Draisaitl, and I look at the fact that this team historically will annoy you. They will irk you. They will leave you feeling like Cam Tate not believing, and then they'll turn it on. Now, will they turn it on all the way to the Cup final? That I don't know. Right now, that would probably be a little bit of a stretch for me to say that. They have the ability, but there's some other good teams in the Central. There's no one in the Pacific Division that I think, oh, Vegas scares you. Like, look at Vegas. Not only are they floundering right now, now they're playing the hottest team in the NHL next, the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres have the best record in the NHL since December 1st. Pretty good. And then they play Detroit, who's got the 5th best record at that time. Then they come back home and they got Colorado. And, oh, by the way, Mark Stone is now out. They say it's day to day. That seemed rather ominous to me. It could be much longer. So we'll have to see where he goes. But Cons, what do you say on Oilers playoffs? Yay or nay?
Well, Tater also predicted that Declan was wearing an itchy sweater, and he's not. So for those that believe, Tater, 0 for 1 on that one.
Yeah, but that's a much more fair, accurate suggestion to claim that he's wearing an itchy sweater, right?
Yeah,
he's
sometimes.
kind of inherited the Struds. He loves the sweaters, right?
Yeah,
it's like a mini Struds.
They make sense. They're functional. But no, I don't think so. I feel like in years past, the Edmonton Oilers at some point here are going to kind of hunker down and lock it in defensively. Like you say, enough to go to the Cup final. I don't know. That Central Division is going to be tough, but they're also going to have to go through each other as well. So maybe they wear down as the playoffs go on. Maybe the Oilers ramp it up. It is a blessing this year that like the Pacific Division, as you mentioned, is as bad as it is, and nobody really wants to win. Like the Golden Knights, 3-5-2 in their last 10. They've lost 2 straight. The Ducks right now are one of the hotter teams. Them and the Dallas Stars right now in the West. Maybe they make that run for the top spot. But in a playoff series, if they were, to go against the Edmonton Oilers, call me biased, but I still like the Oilers in the playoffs.
Well,
so I think they're going to get in. It's not going to be what I wanted all offseason. I said I'd love to see this team go for a run, win the division for the first time in how many years, but I still think they're going to get in.
Yeah, making the play. Once you get in, hey, anything could happen. They could easily lose. I don't discount it. It's not like I would say the Oilers are an overwhelming, stone cold mortal lock to have a deep playoff run by any stretch of the imagination. But I would be floored if they don't make the playoffs. I would say that. I'd be rather floored. Hey guys, you think the Oilers turn their focus back to McMahon from Trev? So Bobby McMahon's a top 9 winger. Look at the Oilers' top 9 wingers: Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, Roslovic, Kapanen, Podkolzin, Matt Savoy. I don't mind Bobby McMahon. And I didn't even include Trent Frederick starting to play better. So where does he fit? That's my question. Right? Where does he fit? I guess maybe they would move Nugent Hopkins to third line center. Then you can move him to wing. Possible. I think if they're going for a forward, I think they're going for a right shot center forward in an ideal world. I think they'd love to give Szymanski a run, but if they can find a veteran, then I could see it. But look at Columbus. I mentioned them off the top. They got some centers that people want. Charlie Coyle, Boone Jenner. But they're winning again tonight. And they got Nashville tomorrow, and then they got Florida. They go 2-3 this week. I just can't see them changing. So I do think Edmonton could still use a little bit of grit and sandpaper in their bottom 6. I have no doubt about that. So I could see that being added. On behalf of Connor Hallett, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Thanks so much for listening, watching the show. We very much appreciate it. Man, we got a lot of text today, lots of viewers online and listeners. So thank you very much. Have yourselves a wonderful Monday. We'll set up the Oilers and the Senators tomorrow. Also, Conor Murphy will make his debut. We'll see who starts in goal for the Oilers and more. On behalf of Connor Hallett, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Let's get Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change, no overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, the Edmonton Oilers have acquired right shot defenseman Conor Murphy from the Chicago Blackhawks with 50% of his $4.4 million cap hit retained. It's a 2028 second-round pick going back to Chicago. Murphy was originally selected 20th overall in 2011 by the Coyotes and spent the last 9 years in Chicago. Also today, Andrew Mangiapane and Alec Regula both featuring waivers. On the ice right now, just 2 games underway. After 20 minutes, the Blue Jackets lead the Rangers 2-0. Midway through the first, Leafs and Flyers are scoreless. Later on, you got the Stars and the Canucks. Kraken host the Hurricanes and the Avs in Los Angeles. In the association, Giannis making his return to the Bucks lineup. They trail the Celtics 16-15 in the first, and in the second, the Rockets up on the Wizards 47-37. Only 2 other games tonight: Nuggets, Jazz, and Warriors, Clippers. And from the CFL, the Edmonton Oilers signing American defensive back Darius Tennyson, Ike Brown, and Jeremiah Walker, along with wideout Ife Adey. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, it's Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch with Kevin Parius. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.